That's killed it.
He made the decision to play Thiago. Klopp doesn't change the system. Move back left. You don't want to change from the 4-3. Boom. What's going on, people? We're back again. Second time this week. The JJM show is up and running. We've got the big game for you guys this week. The big game. It's opener of the Premier League season. Fulham away at Craven Cottage. Obviously, as you can see, I'm joined by the CEO himself, Ash, the chief. We've got Romz as well. I mean, the talented co-host, and I'm so happy to have him on as well. We've got Jack from Anfield Analytics. Jack, thank you so much for having you, man. How you guys doing?
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on as well. Excited to be here.
Yeah, it'll be good to have you, man. Literally, all the stats we've had, I know me and Romz have had a couple streams as well where we've spoken about potential targets. All the stats have come from the genius himself. That's right here. So
big up, Jack, man.
Big up, Jack. Ash, Romz, how you guys doing?
Great.
I'm good. I'm ready to get into this one. I think this match at the weekend, it's not as easy and straightforward as everybody thinks it's going to be.
Fair. I'm at the opposite end of the table. I think we're actually going to steamroll. I think we're putting 4 past the minimum, but I can't wait to chop it up. Just the Prem's back now. No more Love Island. More trying to kill time. Just what we love is back.
Yeah, man. Big up. As Romz has said before he's hopped in, please, people, smash the like as you enter. You know what? We'll wait a bit because we're going to wait for some people to hop on as well. I wanted to speak about have you guys watched the any of the episodes from the Arsenal All or Nothing documentary yet?
I ain't seen it yet. Romz has by his reaction. I can't wait to watch this tonight. I can't wait to get it on.
Yeah. All right. Well, let me not spoil it, but I've got to say, contrary to a lot of people, I'm actually really impressed.
Same.
I'm actually really impressed. Like,
Jerry.
Yeah, go on.
Just before you go, would you agree, right? Whether it's at Arsenal or not, he will be a top manager.
He's impressed me. Listen, if that was an interview, he's definitely in the running to be manager of my club, 100%.
Facts.
Even people have said,
even Liverpool. So, like, if Klopp left and Arteta came in,
I'm not. The problem you've got is that he hasn't got the experience. We'd be going back. But if there was a toss-up between him and Brendan Rodgers back in 2012, I believe, it was 12, wasn't it?
Yeah,
12.
2012, yeah.
Yeah, if it was 2012, then no, it's Arteta for me. Like, no doubt. Like, this guy is like he does know his stuff, and I know people do laugh about the whole kind of he put like the Anfield noise behind it in the training and stuff. But for me, that suggests that that's a respect.
Proactive, isn't it? Yeah.
Respect he's giving Anfield because he's not going in there thinking Anfield's just any other place. He's actually thinking about it. And as an Arsenal fan, as an ex-Everton player as well, as a player that actually won at Anfield as well, he said that's the one place that I've played and I've literally bottled it. He spoke about how he hid, how he didn't want to get on the ball, how he didn't. He spoke about it, and the fact that he's tried to put that across to the players, I think that's fantastic. I like managers that do stuff differently, and you can see he's much more cerebral
outside the box. Even it is funny, it still is funny, but even when he tried to play "You Never Walk Alone" route, that's kind of gone viral on Twitter. It's funny, but when I actually take my Liverpool hat off and step back and actually like deep what he's done, it's actually quite clever because he's trying to make training a similar atmosphere. It can never be the same because you're not surrounded by 60,000, but he's trying to get them geared up psychologically, and you've got to kind of respect him for it. But as the minute I saw the episodes, I said whether it's at Arsenal or not, he'll be a top manager.
Do you know what impressed me? And I've always given him the time of day because the Man City one, you could see that he's quite proactive in that one as well. Yeah. In the it's the all or nothing, the Man City one, isn't it?
Yeah.
He was proactive. He was proactive in that, and you could see everybody saying, "Oh, he's like Pep's bitch" and things like this. But I think he's going to be a good manager. He's got that authority about him as well, which I think all managers kind of need. Even though he's not physically like dominant, he doesn't scream, doesn't shout. He's got that look about him where it's like you respect what he's about. Arteta, I don't mind him.
And you know what? Also, right, that people don't give him credit for. One, he's got a trophy. Managers that have been in management 20 plus years don't even have a trophy.
Yeah.
And what is impressive about that FA Cup, I know it's Arsenal heritage and that is their trophy, but he had to beat Chelsea and City along the way with an Emery team, players that weren't even his. So I think the Arteta criticism can be a bit harsh at times.
No, like even there was a bit, like, not trying to obviously spoil it for you guys that haven't watched it, but there's actually a bit where he's actually emphasizing the whole idea of, like in Spain there's a culture that players are numbers, and no, that players aren't actually that. And you actually see the process of him trying to understand every single player, how they've analyzed. Do you know what I mean? The players come in and he's feeling it like this in a certain way, or this player's injured, and you can see how he's so hands-on. And I've got to say, like, listen, like he isn't as much of a Brendan Rodgers type of manager as I thought. I thought a lot of it was just for show, but he showed me a lot in those first episodes. So
Jerry and Romz, though, before we introduce this latecomer to the scene, G looks so sad. G, why are you looking so sad, man?
Because you lot had me waiting here for about 10 minutes to join the stream.
Wait, so you was early there?
Listen, we're going to have some choice words after this. Hello, everybody. I hope you're all good. Have me standing out here like some...
G,
you know what it's like? We were all in the party and G was waiting for us to come outside and get him, but we didn't hear the doorbell.
Rom, that's exactly what it was.
No, that was the punishment.
You're all gonna get your time.
I was gonna say Jerry's done this on purpose. I knew
it's fine.
He's done this
Jerry,
on purpose.
I got you, bro. I got you.
Before you move on, Jerry and Romz, I don't know if you've seen it as well, G, the documentary. I've not seen it. Why do you think then, if you're saying like he comes across well, why is everybody saying he looks like a caretaker, or what are they saying about it? I think caretaker, manager, or whatever it is. Why are people saying this?
I've got to say, I think people have just got their own preconceptions of the manager, and I think it's difficult to go and shake that off. I think if you go in it and you're like, oh, Lego head, he's rubbish. You don't really, you do. No, it's not, do you know what I mean? Lego head and all this type of stuff. People don't really care about, do you know what I mean, anything else. And as rivals, we're always going to go and try, do you know what I mean, push things, and we're going to do that. It's like with Pep, and do you know what I mean, they're twice, we do it all the time. But if that was Klopp, we wouldn't really have that same type of energy. But from what I've seen, obviously not do you know what I mean, not saying, boy.
You know what, Ash, as well, like, it's a bit unfair on him because he's a novice. You shouldn't get Arsenal Football Club as your first job. Like, you just shouldn't. But that's not on him. That's on Arsenal. You've got to rate him for taking that step. That's on Arsenal. That's on upstairs for offering him the job. But like I said, he'll do well whether it's at Arsenal or elsewhere. I don't think you can take them to the next level. I think after top 4, that's it for him. But even he'll do well elsewhere.
Though, I think that's a massive improvement where they are. If they can go back to being a solid top 4 team, in obviously in terms of progression, I think that's massive. I don't know what you think, Jack, but
yeah, no, I actually think he's improved them a lot since Emery's left. Even showing like the likes of Aubameyang, or even he didn't even care. He's like fine, and he brought in his own players. I think he's done an amazing job actually. I think he might actually get into top 4 this season.
No. Yeah, one thing that's scary as well, that obviously I know G supports Arsenal guys, but he will tell us the signings that they're making stuff is like really, really good, man. So I don't know if G, you can tell us about the signings. You happy with the signings?
Arsenal look like they'll make top 4 this season still. You lot are trying it today. It's fine. Everyone's going to come up at some point. But yeah, I think, like Jack said, I think they'll make top 4.
All right, cool. So let me just run through some of the comments. Some people are in it already. So big up Shiva's Cosmic Dance. Shiva saying Naby Keita for the armband and Harvey Iniesta.
This can't be serious.
Oh, jeez.
Do you know what's a good shirt though from this? Elliot Carvalho, they know the club, they know Fulham. They should edit him with a shirt.
But then, Ash, on the flip side, do you think it could be a bit too not really for Elliot? Actually, he's been there's no excuse. He's been at us for a year or two now. But for Fabio Carvalho, he's literally left them the other day to go back early morning kickoff, a packed Craven Cottage. It might be a bit overwhelming for him. But I've been saying that, and everyone's like, "Shut up! He's a big man. Like he's at."
I don't want my player to become overwhelmed in those situations.
Exactly.
If you get overwhelmed at Fulham, then how can I trust you going up against like Madrid? Like 0 in the Champions League. If you're good enough, you play in those games. I don't think that should faze him at all. Trudon saying Spanish Tom Cruise, no thanks in regards to Arteta. And LFC Aaron, afternoon lads, afternoon Aaron. The stuff Arteta does is inventive, but in my opinion, you have to win in the end if you do stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, look. Not everyone can go and win the Premier League. If you look at it, it's only one Premier League, isn't it? So it doesn't matter really whether you finish second or third or fourth or fifth. For Arsenal, I think it's more to do with progression. So yeah, interesting take. And then Mohammed as well stating our Arsenal. He's asking if our Arsenal winning tomorrow.
I think they are.
I don't think they will.
Just 2-1. I think they're gonna. It's gonna be tight. I think Palace will even take the lead, but. I think Arsenal, they show that resilience from day on, and they'll show character. It'll be tight though, 1-1 or 2-1, but I feel like Arsenal will nick it.
Yeah, I was going to say 1-1. That's what I was going to say.
I think if Arsenal, go on.
Vieira's going to be up for this. Let's not forget. Yeah. Do you think Vieira's in the back of his mind is like, I should be where Arteta is right now? Do you think that's the job he wants? Do you think the Arsenal job's the job Vieira wants in the end?
I think that maybe at one point it is, but I don't think he's in the job thinking, oh, I wish I was at Arsenal. I think he's happy he's at Crystal Palace. Yeah. It's not like he tore up any trees at Nice. You know what I mean? Like, if you think about it, him even getting that job after Hodgson, after being really solid, that was a massive gamble from Palace, in my opinion.
But then I think he may be, because look, like you just alluded to, Jerry, he was at Nice. He was at, I think, New York. A club in MLS as well.
New York.
So he might be thinking, 1 minute, I'm more of a legend than Arteta, and they're offering him this as his first job. But maybe on the flip side, he might be that, maybe I need more experience before I get that big job.
I don't know, but it's not like Vieira done great stuff at New York and done great stuff at Nice. He was poor. He was poor. If you looked at, if you looked at that, if Arsenal got in Vieira, it'd be like, oh my God, like, there wouldn't be any plan. I don't think you can bring in a legend like that without having a plan. I think bringing in an Arteta, obviously, I think he obviously had his ideas and stuff. He came from the same school as Pep, and it was a bit of a gamble. Yeah. But the Vieira one's worse. I mean, if your legend can't make it work, then what happens then?
What you're trying to say in a nutshell, bro, you'll rather ruin Arteta's legacy than
that's it, yeah.
What's the trying to say? Is that Gerard? Keep that guy. Sorry, not that guy. Keep that legend away from our club for as long as he needs another free job.
I don't even want him managing at Liverpool.
Same, because I can't utter them. Yeah, it'll be too much.
I don't even think he's that as a manager. I don't even rate him as a manager, if I'm being honest. Yeah. I said on the show the other day, I think Gerrard could be the one that could be first out the job this season.
I think Villa could be in trouble as well. Yeah. But you do have to give him a bit of...
Jack's not happy. Jack is not happy.
I'm not.
Leave him alone. You have to give him credit, though, to get the title of Celtic, and they're about to do 10 years in a row. That's an achievement. You've got to give him his credit for that.
I think with Villa, I think they'll be about mid-table. Frank Lampard, for me, is the first one to go this season.
Yeah.
100%. He can't do any worse, though, than he did last season. So even if he finishes below mid-table, it's still an improvement. So if he shows improvement, you can't sack him. I don't know. I think Steven Gerrard's going to come under fire this season.
Yeah, I think so. I think if he gets sacked by Villa, I think it might send him over the rails, and I hope it doesn't happen. But how can you cope with just you're never going to be able to get that Premier League even as a manager at Liverpool? I think it might send him over the edge.
Do you think that's the only reason he's coming to management? to win a Premier League with Liverpool.
I think part of it is I think he does want to give back to the people of Liverpool. I think he does want to win a Prem. I think he's motivated by that. He's motivated by winning.
That's his motive, yeah.
He's not doing it to develop players. Like it's not like he's. Do you know what I mean? Saying, you know what, I'm just gonna only look at the youth. Look at the amount of money he's spending. Like, do you know what I mean? He's coming to win. Like he's not. I mean,
yeah, he's obsessed with football. I think he was looking at. I think Carragher asked him if he wanted to come into media and stuff, and he was like, "Nah."
He said no.
I just want to get back on the pitch and stuff. That. Yeah,
exactly. But guys, the preview: Fulham, Craven Cottage. Easy 3 points or potential banana skin. Does Klopp get his 3 points? How are we feeling? You know what? Let's start with G, because I know we've spoken about Arsenal a lot, but maybe this Liverpool might engage him a bit more. So,
was there something I did before to get this abuse today, or
lateness?
I was on time. No,
you weren't.
I was.
G, even JJ wasn't on time. So if JJ was,
I was on time. Liverpool, I think we'll win. I don't think it'll be easy, but I think we'll win. I definitely think we'll win, but I don't think it'll be easy by any stretch of the imagination. New season, promotion, they're going to be on a high. They're at home, fans. They'll be gassed, if more than anything, but I think we'll just be able to quell that, and then we'll just comfortably 2-0. Yeah, 2-0.
Jack?
Yeah, I'm the same. I think if we can get through the first 15, 20 minutes, settle the crowd down, just get the ball down and start passing it around us, I think we'll be fine. I think it'll be like 3-0.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Romz?
KG for the first 10 minutes, and then I think once the first one goes in, we're going to spank them. I think 4 minimum we're putting past them.
4, you know.
And what gives me confidence is the community shield display. I know the City, they hadn't had a lot of pre-season games, but I did like what I will not exaggerate that some of our fans saying it was some amazing performance, because I wouldn't say it was amazing, but it was a good performance. I just think against Fulham, I think that result's going to give our players confidence to perform like that against City, now to come down to Fulham. And I know they're going to have that Premier League bounce, first game, early kickoff, but once the first one goes in, we'll settle, and I think we'll just put more and more past them, to be honest.
Ash, I think you're leaning towards me in regards to it could be a potential banana skin.
I think it's not going to be as exciting as we think. Like, I'm not saying we're going to lose. I'm not saying we're going to draw, but it's going to be one of those where you come out of it, Liverpool win, the performance is underwhelming, but because we win, it's like we move on, next game. Do you know what I mean? Like, if we draw the game, then we can start going, right, why have you started Bobby Firmino? Why have you not brought on Carvalho? Things like this, we can start asking questions. But if we win, it's just going to be, move on, same team next week. And that's what it's been for so many seasons. That's what it's been. I think it's going to be 1-0, maybe 1-0. I can't see them scoring, to be honest. Our defense is too good. So 1-0, Mo Salah. Mo Salah's going to make it 6 in 6 opening games of the season. He's got 5 in a row so far in it, so I think he's going to make it 6 in 6. He looks sharp at the minute.
Yeah, with me, I'm not going to lie. I think, you know what, Klopp and Liverpool won't take this game lightly. But if Liverpool had the same mentality as the fans, I think Fulham could be a problem. And I think the way they won the championship, the manner in which they were beating teams, the fact that they've brought in a couple of signs, and we will get onto it because Jack's been he's been grateful enough to get something sorted and packed up together for us in regards to stats. But the likes of obviously Mbabu, Payinha, Pereira, alongside you, I mean they've got Onoma still, who's had more games, and they've got some decent.
Do you think Mitrovic has got a point to prove as well?
100%. 100%. I think Mitrovic, I think that's a great segue. In regards to their threat, it's easy to say that probably Mitrovic is their main guy, right? He's the one that's probably going to get the goal. I think pre-season he's been on fire. I think he's got 5 and 6.
Banging him in.
They've been banging him in pre-season as well, and they play Villarreal. They haven't played poor teams. So it's not like they've gone and played, you know what I mean, someone in League Two or like Tranmere Rovers or something like that. They're playing high level opposition to keep them in good stead. I think Marco Silva, prior to obviously his Everton stint, which just went horribly wrong, I think he was a decent manager. I think Watford, Watford did play a good brand of football. I think the type of players, you're still seeing that he's got that pull of players, because whether it's the Portuguese connection or whether it's the agent connection, he's bringing in a high level caliber player. Even Bernd Leno from Arsenal, I think, to get a shot stopper like that in is a good signing. And I think you're looking now, and I mean, Gazzaniga looks like he's going to be number 2 again in the Premier League. Do you know what I mean? After being number 1 at Fulham.
Mad, isn't it? Yeah.
So I don't know. I think, Jack, if you want to, because I'm going to get it up for us.
Yeah.
Can I just mention?
Yeah, go on.
Another player.
Yeah, go on.
I don't know if his work permits come in time to play on Saturday, but Solomon, that they signed from Shakhtar. I'm not going to act like I've watched them a lot, but he played against Real Madrid. I watched Shakhtar against Real Madrid twice in their group stage. Either the campaign just gone or the campaign before. He's quite alive, and he could give Trent. Robbo's not in the best of form at the moment. He can give Trent and Robbo problems, especially if we've gone the other way and they hit us on the counter. He's very quick, so he's one we should look out for. But I don't know if his work permit's been cleared in time. He may not play on Saturday.
Are we sleeping a bit on Harry Wilson as well? Like, was he top assist last season in the Championship as well? Like,
and he's a good set piece specialist.
Taker.
Something we don't have.
Harry Wilson's the type of player he'll have something to prove, because he's someone that I think could have easily stayed. Considering the type of players we've got, he could have easily been in our squad. Not maybe not a star, but could have been in our squad.
It's true. Like, it is mad, because we're laughing at this, but what makes Harvey Elliott better than Wilson? Wilson's better, in my opinion. Wilson scores more goals, takes set pieces.
I'm just keeping quiet on all these players talks, and we'll get into that at another time. We'll get into that
because when everyone's speaking, Jesus going, this is what I've said.
Literally, I'm literally like, you guys. You're saying anything.
You know what's embarrassing? So just before you go, Joe, they've got a set piece. Like, we don't really have anyone good on set piece. And the first player that comes to mind is Trent. You can't really say it. 1 goal in 38, 1 free kick in 38 games. We can't really
makes
say
him a free kick merchant, like all of a sudden, like
No, considering his ability I've said it before. Considering his ability in crossing, his ability to strike a ball, he should be getting way more goals from set pieces. Oh, wow. I don't know what it is. I don't know.
It's not even that. It's not even that. He doesn't even get them on target.
Yeah. He doesn't even get them on target.
It's not even close.
Yeah, we spoke about that, innit, Jack, on the last show.
Yeah.
We spoke about who else is there? Like Van Dijk. Van Dijk was set pieces for Celtic. Like,
but then I've seen him take a couple for Liverpool, and he looks a bit like,
I know. But if you put anyone else on those set pieces, anyone in that squad could get 1 in 38 games. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fabinho used to take set pieces for Monaco. Look at his penalties. Like, why are we not trying somebody else? It's just, I feel like people just want to kind of force Trent to be this saviour of Liverpool, the Scouse hope. Do you know what I mean? I feel like that's why he gets it. And because of the 1 free kick he scored on his debut
against Hoffenheim
in the Champions League?
Yeah.
Even the one last season.
But Shawnee's saying Harry Wilson's out for 2 months. So
we got Shawnee, man. We got Shawnee.
Even the one last season against West Ham, like, if we're taking our Liverpool hats off, that was right down the middle. Like, Fabianski should have saved that. Like, it was just poor goalkeeping. Obviously, I'm happy he scored, but it's not like it was right in the top bins.
Yeah, but so going back, obviously talking about Mitrovic, I'm going to let Jack take over here, because he's managed to put this up for us. So then if you want to run us through what the stats are suggesting, and I think obviously massive props, because other streams have a data, have got these resources. So listen, big up Anfield Analytics and Jack as well. Appreciate it a lot.
Yeah. So we'll start with the top one, and it's basically just showing the Championship attackers goals per 90 versus assists per 90, and you can see on the far right that Mitrovic is way ahead of everyone else in terms of goals per 90. He's literally getting a goal a game. That's the same as what Nunes was getting for Benfica last season. But he's only getting 1 assist every 10 games. So it's kind of suggesting he's their target man. Just get the ball to him and he'll score. Down the bottom just shows his shots on target and his goals per season. Now, it's what you were saying before. Like, I think this season could be like make or break season in terms of will he make it in the Premiership. 18-19 and 20-21, he's only scored 11 and 3 goals when he was in the Premier League.
Yeah.
You know, and if he does that again this season, I don't think he'll make it in the Premier League. I think this is his final chance to do that. It's like he needs like an in-between league because he's too good for the Championship.
Yeah.
But those 43 goals, that's the record now. He smashed the Championship record for goals.
Do you think that's what he needs, or do you think he needs a better club? Because that suggests to me that he can finish. He's a goal scorer.
Yeah.
What we see when Championships clubs come up, you've got to be this electric. Like last season, I was impressed with Ivan Toney, what he did, because he kind of took that initiative on his shoulders. He was physical. He did exactly what he did in the Championship. But with Mitrovic, he's physical. Like when I watch him in the Championship, he's physical. He dominates defenders. You can't do that in the Premier League.
No.
You need the kind of assists. You need the playmakers around you to kind of unlock defenses. And I don't know if Fulham have that. So it's a tough one, but I rate him as a player, though.
Well, those 43 goals he scored last season, I think Fulham scored 106 in last season.
Wow.
Their second highest goal scorer was Carvalho, who obviously we now have. So where else are they going to get the goals from this season?
Yeah.
And you know what? Just to add on to what Ash said, it's so right. Like, I feel like he just needs to be in a better team because at Newcastle, I think Mitrovic did okay. I think he did all right in the Prem. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think he even got 10 Premier League goals, which is a decent return. I think he got double digits for Newcastle. So I think Ash, you're spot on. I just feel like he needs to be in a better team. He might not actually be the player himself because I rate him, and he does it for his country as well.
Maybe he uses this as an audition. Maybe he goes out the season. He's like, I'm ready now. How old is he, by the way, Jack? Do you know?
He's going to be 28 in September.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It is his last chance, really, to make a name for himself.
He's been at Fulham for a long while now. He's been.
I mean, I don't even hear any rumors of teams going in for him either, though.
Yeah,
which makes you
think they're all waiting like we are. Is he gonna really?
Do it in
the Premier League, like
even
if he doesn't score goals, it doesn't matter. The goal thing isn't actually the issue in the Prem. Because look at Tony. I'll be honest, Tony looked crap in my opinion. Like that wasn't the same Tony I remember seeing in the Championship, who was banging in goals left, right, and centre.
But he got the goals though, anyway, innit? Like Tony still got the goals last
but he didn't get that many goals. Do you get what I mean? So it's like it was all about his all-round play, and that's what Mitrovic needs to just improve on. I'm
looking at Chelsea now with Broha. I'm looking at West Ham. We're in for Broha as well. That to me is a similar style of player with Mitrovic. But Mitrovic, you'd say he's probably more proven. So it is interesting that more teams aren't in for him. Maybe it's an age thing. I don't know what Fulham would be asking.
He's not got the most legs though, doesn't he? Like Bro's just someone.
He's a bit more. He's got a bit more.
Kind of number 9, like a Nunes. So he's got that physicality, but he's also got legs to run in behind. Mitrovic doesn't really do that, which means that for Mitrovic to do well, like he'd do well probably in a Mourinho type of Chelsea team. Dominate. And he can just stay in between the two sticks and get on in the end of crosses.
Even a Pep team, he'll be perfect in a Pep team. Just literally just staying between the lines and just.
You say that. I think we say that, but they do need players coming off the lines, and the lateral movement's really key, left to right. I think in being able to interchange with, you know what, De Bruyne is gonna go further forward. I'm gonna drop in the hole this time, and you see
do you think that's why Haaland might come unstuck this season, Jerry?
I've said that. I think that's going to be the trick because I actually feel it's very similar to Barca. I think remember Barca even went a couple of seasons where they played Cesc Fabregas or even Spain did it in the World Cup where they played Cesc Fabregas as the focal point up front. And the reason is because it helps the kind of pass and move and possession based team because you have Bobby aids us in that regard because he comes off the line, he receives the ball, he drops it off. The centre back doesn't know whether to push up against him or not. If he pushes up against him, the space in behind that the kind of the 8 will exploit or the wingers will exploit. It's difficult to deal with. I think Haaland, having that player that just stands there and stuff, it doesn't always help because it means that a lot of the time he's out of the game. And if the centre backs manage to beat the press even laterally, and a lot of the time we speak of presses, but it's the press coming forward. So it's like, oh, De Bruyne is pressing the centre back or pressing the goalkeeper. But if a lot of the time they press to a certain side of the pitch, so they might see Matip get the ball, and that's the trigger, and they press and force him to go out wide because you don't want to play down the centre. But what happens is, and we saw it even in the Community Shield. The first couple of times Haaland pressed, and he pressed quite well because he stopped the pass from Matip, from Van Dijk to Matip to open up the pitch. If you think about where the centre-backs played, really deep, really wide. So he stopped that pass. What started to happen, though, was Thiago and Fabinho were really
going to say Thiago and Fabinho.
In their movement, which meant that Haaland, after a while, didn't press as well. And it meant that a lot of the time, Van Dijk had the ball, and it was like, all right, then I'm just going to play it across the box into Matip, and all of a sudden you see the press that Bernardo Silva and De Bruyne and Mahrez had on kind of Robbo. It's shifted out to Trent, and Trent's now got loads of space to just find Salah, or we can just find Salah directly. So yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how they adapt in that, in my opinion. But yeah, that's great. Before we move on, I'm just going to run through some of these comments as well because we're going to get on to some of the new signings that they've made as well. Trudon saying Vieira masterclass incoming, 3-0 Palace. That'd be ridiculous. Big up Jamie Phillips. Make sure to subscribe to the Jamie Phillips Football Chats account as well. We're doing massive things over there as well. So pumped for the new season. I think we all are. LFC Aaron saying, I think Palace will get something tomorrow. Typical Arsenal after the pre-season hype. Big up Shawnee, big up Shiva saying maybe it is because I just finished an 18-hour workday, but no slander on Stevie Top G today, please, to not push me over the edge. Oh, Shiva, man, big up. Jamie Phillips is saying Liverpool 4-0, very quick start, guys. It's Fulham. I don't care if their first game back.
Jamie, I'm with you. I don't think it'll be a quick start. We'll score after like 20 minutes, then it'll just one after the other, man.
Yeah. Jack McIndoe saying, big up Jerry and the lads. Hope you've had a quality day. Just got in and we'll watch the repeat. Big up Jack. Was saying Suarez on free kicks was naughty. Having the variety of set plays is massive. 100%. Jamie's fuming, to be fair. He's saying, guys, why are we talking like we are a mid-table team? We're bloody Liverpool going for the title. We are going for the title. But
are we?
Against Brentford last season and Brighton. So
okay, I didn't get the memo. Yeah. Let's go. Big up Laser LFC. Guys, make sure to check out Guys, make sure to check out Laser. He's doing massive. Oh, yes, Laser, Big up
Laser. At Anfield as well. Loads of content going to be coming as well, and he will be hopping on some of our watch-alongs as well. So that'd be really, really good to have him on board. So big up Laser. Shiva saying here, and I think this is a great segue anyway. Can't wait to see Payinha against our midfield. Brilliant baller. All depends on how Klopp sets up the midfield. 100%. I think that is a great segue. I think they've signed really, really well. Really well. They haven't gone down the path of just signing loads of players, but the players that they have bought, to me, and from the outside, have addressed the positions that they needed to. So the likes
Jerry,
you're gone.
Quickly, do they still have what's his name? And he was well sought after seasons ago. Seri, John Michael Seri, is he still there?
No, he's gone.
No, he's gone. He's
in the Championship though. He's who's he gone to?
So he left to go to a Championship.
Yeah, he stayed in the Championship.
Yeah.
Remember, he was sought after. We were linked with him. City.
Everyone was linked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. It just
he signed for
Hull City.
Yeah, he's 31 now, so he signed for Hull. So
Life comes at you fast.
yeah,
But you know like that.
it is Hull. It is Hull. So yeah, he's 31 now as well, guys. So like,
he was linked with every top club in Europe at one stage.
Yeah, he was, but it just never really worked out.
He's 31.
Yeah.
Yo, these Africans, man. 31. I thought he was younger than that. Hey, sorry, me. I'm gonna speak to you later, man. Don't worry about that.
but I think they're strengthened in a lot of the right positions. I do know that they still want a centre back in. I think they're not happy because at the moment I think they'll probably play Tim Ream and Tosin Adarabioyo, which for the championship I think is great, but I don't think it's the best kind of back line for a Premier League team. But they have strengthened obviously Mbabu, Painha, Pereira, as you said, Solomon as well. They've managed to keep Mitrovic. Although they lost Carvalho, they've still got Onama, Kearney as well, who's a decent player. I know he didn't really get a run of games.
He was injured.
They're the type of yeah, go on. Sorry, Romz.
Sorry, just before you go, Ash. A lot of people, because I've heard some Liverpool fans say, Tom Kearney didn't do it last time he was in the Prem, but he had quite an injury-stricken season where he couldn't really get any rhythm. But I was going to say, Joe, would you say, maybe it's United tax, but would you say like Pereira's a strengthened? I don't know. I just don't rate him, but would you say he won't do well in a smaller?
I think if you think about it, Carvalho's probably got a higher ceiling and had a good season in the Championship. But I'm pretty sure if Pereira played in the Championship and was just told, do your thing, he'd have a really, whether not in terms of numbers, but I think he'd have a really, really good season because I think he's a good player.
Yeah.
When he was at Lazio, or was it Napoli? He had a decent spell over there because he did go on loan from United.
Yes.
He had a decent spell, which actually resulted in United trying to keep him. So you had that similar kind of Lingard type of season where he's gone on loan, done really well, and then United have kept him and not played him. So it'll be interesting to see. And I mean, Carvalho in the Premier League in a Fulham side, we saw it with Ryan Sessegnon. It didn't really work out. And it's difficult to impose yourself in a low kind of low mid-table potentially team as a young player. It'll be interesting. I don't think it's as much of a downgrade as people make out. Obviously he's much older, so obviously Carvalho's ceiling's higher. But yeah, I don't know what you guys think about their new signings. G,
I think the sign I'm looking at really is Leno, because he's the one that I'm thinking to myself might be the most important one, to be honest. The rest are, neither here nor there. It's Leno, because you need a good keeper. Like, if you do not have a good keeper, and Leno's a decent keeper, do you get what I'm trying to say? So the fact that they've got him in, that's the sign, and I'm looking at to think, if you're going to stay up, it's going to be him. That's keeping you up. It ain't going to be Mitrovic, because he ain't going to bag enough. It'll be him saving you. And obviously he said that they're looking for centre-back. I think he said centre-back. Yeah. So, if they can get in a decent centre-back as well, do you know what I mean? These teams who come up, I always think it's not your first team that will save you. It's who do you have as backup? Because the backups are usually crap. That's usually the problem. Yeah. Like, they're good enough for the Championship, but not the Premiership. Do you get what I mean? So then it's like they always come unstuck like later on, but then you find a couple gems here and there. But Leno's the one. I think Leno will be the one that will help them towards this staying up this season.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Yeah, do you know what it is? I think with a team that finishes first, Fulham outscored everybody last season. Mm-hmm. So coming up into the Premier League, when you're a team that just outscores everybody else, you always come unstuck. Norwich always do it. It's always those teams that either win the playoffs, that can grind out a win, that have a solid defence but not the best attack. They're the ones that normally do a little bit better in the Premier League. But what I'll say that Fulham have done well, they've kept that kind of core of a team that did well last season. What you normally see with Sheffield and different teams like that, they just spend so much money on players that they think are Premier League quality. Yeah, that's it. They think are Premier League quality, and then they realise they needed to keep the base. So they've kept like Harrison Reed, Tom Kearney, even Chalobah, who knows the Premier League a little bit.
Big up Chalobah, because he's one of like my friends and people that I played went to school with him as well. So he's been about the circuit. And he's had a couple bad injuries, but back in the day, this is maybe 2013, 14. I don't know if you guys know, but he went on loan to Napoli and actually tore it up.
Yeah.
Tore it up in Napoli to the point where he was that starting midfielder, and it's injury after injury after injury. And if you were on the academy circuit back then in London, he was the main guy. Like everyone knew about Chalobah. Everyone.
You know, people that went to school. We'll speak off camera because that school was local. I think it was local to me. But back to your question, I'm only going to speak about the signings I know because I think you said Mwepu. I don't really know if that's how you pronounce it. I don't know. Mbappe. I don't know too much of
Swiss
him,
international, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, and he's got like locks.
Yeah, the dreads. Yeah.
I was going to say you remember it straight away.
Yeah, I remember watching him for the Euro. He put in a good performance, I think, against France. All right, cool. That's 4 good times. But the main thing I'm looking at is Leno, because like you said, his handling and distribution isn't the greatest, but he's a good shot stopper. He's actually a very good shot stopper. Solomon, like I said, very elusive. He's quite a live wire, but his decision making isn't the best. But him and Tete for the Nets were giving Real Madrid a tough time in the group stage, and I think it's pronounced Paulinho,
yeah.
The odd game I watched from him, he's quality. He's just got that natural Portuguese flair about him. So, not of always speaking, I don't know if it will be as easy as what I initially said, but sometimes I do this. I think games are going to be harder, and we've just blitzed them. And had this been further down the season, I think it maybe been closer. But I think we might just have a bit too much for them. But like you said, Jerry, I think they've made some good acquisitions, you know, and. Again, a London club. I've got this theory where by a certain year, I want half the Prem to be in and around London. So
that'd be amazing.
That'd be amazing. So yeah, I don't want them and Norwich just seem to do that. Just yo-yo, and I just hope it doesn't happen this year, man.
Yeah, I think we're gonna hop into it now, and Jackson obviously run us through the kind of stats as well. But for me, the big one is Painho. That big one. When you look at him as a player, although he's got the flair, he's someone that's got the size, he's got the strength.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
He's not
pressure resistant.
He's someone that's very he in that kind of 6 role. I think he's someone that if we had, I can't believe they got him for the price they did. But I mean,
how much did they get him for?
It would be ridiculous. It would have been.
Was it like 15 million?
Yeah.
It
would have been ridiculous because he's someone that he's got legs, but he's also he's strong. Like I've seen the way he rides challenges, the way he gets back in for tackles. He's someone he's made for the Prem. I think he's a player that haven't gone and got a kind of continental kind of Jorginho-esque 6.
Yeah.
And it works well when they've got the ball, but then you see he'll struggle off the ball. He's someone that he can impose himself straight away.
You know who he reminds me a bit of, Jerry, a former Fulham player. Nowhere near as good yet. Because I think this player is one of the best we've seen in the Prem, and people kind of underrate him. But you see Moussa Dembele, kind of reminds you of him. Like, he's very pressure resistant. Whenever I watch Paulinho, the odd time in Champions League, he's very pressure resistant.
Yeah, the thing is as well, he's tall. He's about 6'3", 6'4".
Yeah, it's a giant.
That's what I'm saying. He's tall and he's got the legs and he's got a rocket. He's got a rocket from distance as well. He can shoot. He likes to shoot. So it'll be interesting. We'll add this to the stream now. And Jack, you can take us through this.
Yeah, so I decided to focus on the defensive actions because that's where his strengths are, to be honest. In pre-season, Fulham have been playing 4-2-3-1 and a 4-1-4-1 with Paulinho playing as that holding 6 or in the double pivot. So from here, you can see that he just ranks so much higher than the rest of the Fulham squad in these defensive stats. Defensive duels per 90, successful defensive actions per 90, and sliding tackles per 90. But with all that being said, he does give the most amount of fouls as well. It's like double the second player in that squad. So it's something that we could probably capitalize on. Just winning a few more free kicks.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking through it here, and I mean, you can see just even the types of players that they've brought in, and you can see. So Mbabu, especially the key one. You can see that even in successful defensive actions, there with Joe Byron and Tete as well. So
exactly, he's ranking above actual defenders in these metrics as well. With Mbabu, though, I don't think he'll play the first game of the season. He's only played 6 minutes in pre-season.
Oh wow, only 6 minutes.
Yeah, and it was literally the last 6 minutes against Villarreal, so I don't see him playing. So he played with the same back four. Yeah, Tete, he's played all games.
Oh, okay, so it's Tete at the back. But as you can see, it's really giving them that strength in depth.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
They could go and play 5 at the back, and Tete and Babu could go and do that as well if they had to. And it means
exactly he is a right wing back as well, and Babu. So
yeah, I'm looking at it now, and it's incredible. I don't know what Ash G, what you think about these stats?
Yeah, do you know what would be interesting to see before this stat came up? I was gonna say, like, watching Palhinha a little bit, he's gonna get in this squad, I think, the most tackles in the Premier League next season. That's what I was going to say. It reminds me of what Ndidi used to do, what you've seen from Bissouma and players like that. He can offer that. And looking at that stat now, 1.6 tackles per 90 minutes, that's going to get higher in the Premier League because think of how many teams are going to have possession over Fulham. He's going to have to put the tackles in. So I'd say great addition to the squad. He needs to look at the fouls a little bit more, though, because playing against some of those tricky, agile midfielders, it depends. That stat, actually, it's like there's tactical fouls. You know what I mean? That could be clever fouls.
I was literally going to say, I was like, depends. Yeah. I remember for Fernandinho for City, for the amount of fouls he made. And if you can get away with those type of fouls without getting carded, it will actually
does it a lot.
It does.
Stop our transition if he's able to replicate that.
Yeah.
Us trying to break, do you know what I mean, in terms of with runners. So I do think Firmino will start, but with Firmino on the ball or Salah making the transition of Diaz, if he can go and snuff them out without getting carded, it might disjoint our play. So actually aids into our kind of thinking, Ash, where we think, you know what, it's going to be a bit more cagey as opposed to it being like a 4-0 whitewash, as obviously Jamie Phillips and like I've said. So yeah, that's
it's like when you look at these, like, even if you took away all of the stats, to be honest, even if you took that away, when you watch him play, these stats, these stats have done for me now has just more, would I say, like, confirmed that, okay, cool, he's not a guy that is gonna, obviously he's not gonna score goals, he's not gonna, he's not that type of individual, so to speak. But what he does is the things that always go unnoticed in games. As you know, Ash just said there about the clever fouls and stuff. Obviously, if you looked at that, you'll think, right, he's getting bare fouls a game. But we don't know if they're clever fouls or not. We just know he makes fouls in games. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So it's that's why when I look at these stats, I'm thinking, yeah, you see players like that, those are usually my worry. Because if I have to look at stats to kind of measure you because you're not on the eye, so to speak, blah, 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 but you're still important in a team, that's a worry. Straight away, I'm worried because I'm like, what are you going to do now? Because that means he is, as JJ said, being able to snuff out certain things. Now I'm a bit more worried thinking, oh, maybe Klopp should change up the tactics a bit to stop, to maybe get him out of the game so we can do our thing, as opposed to he being in the game to stop us doing what we need to do, if that kind of makes sense. Maybe try flip it on its head. But
do you know what?
Going to be a good player.
Do you know what I'd say though, Jack, towards you as well? We can't get carried away, can we, with these stats? Because, like you said, you've taken these from Palhinha being at Sporting Lisbon, and the rest of the squad have been at Fulham. Like last season, Fulham dominated that league. They didn't have to have so many defensive actions. Whereas Sporting Lisbon coming up against Benfica, Porto, teams like that, you've got to kind of put more of a press on. You've got to defend a little bit more. So it stands out, but it's not compared to everybody else in the league. It's not compared to playing in this team. But I will say he is a class player. He's definitely the best addition that they've brought in this summer.
Yeah, 100%. We're looking at it now. I think the best way to kind of analyze this now is like seeing these stats. How, I'll throw it at Jack first. How do we combat a player like a Palhinha? How do we get around his abilities? Because he's going to be really important. That midfield battle is going to be really, really important, especially, you know what I mean, Craven Cottage. It's going to be, he's going to be essentially tasked with stopping Thiago being able to get on the ball, allowing Salah and Diaz or even Bobby to get in those half spaces. How do we combat that?
Well, to be fair, I think with the way we play, we obviously go down the wings, and he's going to be centrally, so I don't think it will be that bad. It'll only be when the likes of Henderson or whoever the other 8 is, that'll be on him. I think Thiago will drop a bit deeper if he needs to, and he'll make sure that he's too smart to get involved in that type of battle, really. And yeah, Diaz and Salah are going to be the focus for the game for me anyway.
G?
Yeah, it's going to have to be. Yeah, it's going to have to. Either it's coming from Klopp changing tactics, and we play over 10, and then that might put Fulham in a position, because Fulham might not know now. They don't know if we're going to go 4-3, which is funny, but they might not know if we're going to go 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1. So if we do go with the 4-2-3-1, which is different from what we usually do, that might just unbalance them just a little bit. And then, as Jack was saying, then it makes it a bit more easier again for your Salahs, maybe your Diaz's, to maybe then penetrate potentially. But it literally depends on who we play. Yeah, it actually just depends on how Klopp wants to kind of start up the game. I think he's going to go 4-3-3, but I feel maybe 4-2-3-1 in this situation, in my opinion, might just be a little bit better.
Romz?
Literally alluding to what G said, and I don't know if I think we'll get into the 11s later, but the reason why I'd like to see a 4-2-3-1, because I really think Nunes I think he can grab a couple in this game, depending if we play with that 10 or not. Honestly, because a lot of fans want to slowly integrate him, and I think more of our fan base want to see Bobby possibly start than a Nunes. I'm on the Nunes train. I want to see him start this game only if we play with that 10, but I can't really see us doing it. But what G said, I feel like we may have to have a change in tactics this game. But either or, I think we'll be quite comfortable.
Yeah. I think Ash.
Do you know what? Looking at this and thinking about Fulham's team, if Fulham are clever in this game, they should play a 4-4-2, I think. I don't think, like Jack's just said, the threat isn't going to come through the middle for Liverpool. Whoever's playing in that Keita role or whatever we like to, if we're going to play Fabinho, Henderson, Thiago, there's no threat in that 10 position. So why play a 3-man midfield? Utilize the width. If you cover the wings, we've not got the creativity to unlock Fulham in the middle. And if we go that way, Palina's there anyway, he's going to squash that out. So if I'm Fulham, I'm going in this game. I don't want to give Fulham tips, by the way, but I'm going into this game with a 2-man midfield. I would have said 5-2-3, but I don't think they've got the defense to go 5-2-3. I don't think they've got 3 centre backs that could do the job. So I'd go 4-4-2 for Fulham. But like you've just said, Liverpool, if they play a 4-2-3-1, it's game over straight away.
Yeah, I agree. I think with Fulham, I think they are, considering what Jack said as well, saying how they set up in pre-season, I don't think they'll play 4-2-3-1. I think they will play 4-1-4-1. So essentially, obviously, Payne is going to be the screen in front, and then wide players are going to have to work tirelessly to obviously help out and stop the runs of obviously Trent and Alexander-Arnold. And I think it'll be an interesting game, as we said, because Mitrovic is going to be isolated a lot of the time. So it'll be interesting to see how quickly those midfielders and those wide players can get in and around him to help him hold up the ball against Verge, which we've seen is nigh impossible.
That's why I'm thinking, why waste that one? Do you know what I mean? Why waste Palina in that position? They don't need it. If they play 2 up front, look what Brentford did to us last season. If they play 2 up front, Liverpool are going to be on the front foot. I don't know why I'm speaking like I'm a Fulham fan, like I'm going to give Fulham tips. But if they play that long ball, there's a chance, physicality-wise, Mitrovic could maybe win that first ball. Second ball, they've got some fast players in and around Mitrovic. That's where they're going to win the game. I don't know why they would turn up or be at home and try and play defensive against Liverpool, because we will unpick them at some point. So they might as well go for it.
You know why you're spot on, Ash, as well? I know it's years ago and the landscape's different. It may not even be relevant to this game at all. But the last time we went there, that's what they were doing, playing the long ball. And we drew 1-1. We were poor that game. We were lucky to even come away with a draw. And what you said spot on, Ash, if they just kind of play that route one football, I think we could be in trouble. Not in trouble in terms of the result, but in terms of chances creation. They've got to play. Mitrovic has that presence to maybe take it down and play it into maybe a Bobby Reed or a Solomon, because that's another player. Bobby Reed gave us problems last time. I think he even scored, didn't he? Yeah, he scored. So I'm actually deep in it. I don't want to scare anyone, but I haven't been the greatest, you know. They beat us at Anfield. Cool. I know we had an empty ground or not, and we've drew at their place. Like, it's not as rosy as everyone.
Yeah. I think with teams like Fulham, as Ash just said it there, when we played Brentford last season, the way to play against Liverpool is you don't isolate your striker, because we want isolation. That's what we want. We want them to be isolated, because then it means we know that every centre-back we have will catch more or less every single attacker in England. So we want that race. What you need to be doing is getting more players in and around there, because we can't. I feel we get a little bit befuddled, like when we've got like two attackers to worry about, because then it means that, you know, you're going to always have a situation of the two centre-backs who obviously go so wide. If you've got two attackers against them, they don't really always know, okay, cool, do we just chill? Do we come inside? Does Robbo and that come back? Because they won't come back. So it's going to just be the two who are going to stay there. Do you get what I mean? So then it starts the bit like, you start noticing the team starts moving across, but it's always done in a way where you just think to yourself, yeah, a goal's coming. As soon as one fast player comes out of nowhere, Bobby Reed or whoever it might be, I can see the goal straight away. Why? Because we're so used to playing against one, because teams set up so defensively. Put players in and around, or put another player in and around Mitrovic, I promise you now, he will get a header. He's not going to not win at least one.
Yeah. I think physically he can impose himself on Verge.
And remember, you're saying Verge. He might just go stand on whoever else is there.
Yeah,
he might.
And the problem is,
that's what a lot of the nominations do. They're like, forget Verge being a better defender. Let's go. Matip and Konate will deal with them the same way as Verge, but they're just thinking, which one's kind of. But you're right, G. Normally,
I would go against Verge anyway. Listen, I've seen Verge sometimes get a little bit. When he goes up to these headers, and I'm just like, oh, all right, cool. And then you can see if he loses that first header, if Verge loses the first header, it's peak, because, well, you've got whoever else behind you. And then that creates a problem, because I almost feel like the team are like, right, he's just lost the header. Shit, we all need to keep,
Do you know what?
And that's what his problem can be. Like, we all know he's best centre back in the world, but sometimes, because he knows he's that good, it's almost like he's not as bothered at times.
Yes.
I've actually seen that header so many times where he's not really going for it. He's kind of just, it's kind of a lackluster effort, and it kind of puts him in trouble. But because he's so good, this is also testament to Verge. Because he's so good, normally recovers it. But against the better teams, we may not get away with that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you know what Verge's weakness is? And I'd say the only weakness he might have, when that first ball is won, and then there's a player in the channel, Verge sometimes is a bit indecisive whether to go out and press or whether to cover 100%. In the middle. And that's where teams always, the ball into the box, first time finish, that's what unlocks Liverpool every time. And that's
well, you saw the goal against
Champions League final.
Yeah, just about to say that.
Virgil, why are you not going out? Why are you fart-arsing around putting your legs out? Why didn't
Spurs at Anfield did it a lot as well, but they just weren't as clinical.
I think what we see as well is that Matip and Konate probably do it. They actually, to be fair, they do it better. Yeah, but when the balls are out on the flanks and that Verge is left exposed by, do you know what I mean? Or the centre backs are left exposed because the fullbacks are really, really high. What you see is Verge stays in the centre and then gives them that space, which he's saying, put the ball in the box. I've got Ali there who's going to win it. If he doesn't catch this ball, we're going to head it out and clear out anyway. But the problem, you've got someone with a bit of quality there. Verge has got to get out. And when he doesn't, but the problem you've got there is that when he does get out, He leaves gaps in the middle.
Yeah.
And it's that's the trade-off you've got. And we see it a lot of the time because we're so accustomed to how Matip and Virgil defend. When Konate and Gomez rush out, do you know what I mean? When the ball goes out wide to the striker, because the striker's made it from an in to out run after, do you know what I mean, a wide player's played the ball. You'll see Konate and Gomez rush out and they press up, just like you're tall. You rush out, that's your man, and you press him until he pops it back and you get back into position.
Yeah.
The problem you've got then is that center's exposed, and the way we play a lot of the time, there are people getting behind Fabinho a lot more than we actually think.
Of
Jerry,
course.
The gap between the centre backs and Fabinho, a lot of the time, the strikers are running directly out our defence. So
you're so right, because how many times when a team's on a break against us, it's never out wide normally. It's normally a player dribbling through the centre. It's actually so true.
Yeah, so it's mad. Before we run into the comments, I'm just going to get the next slide up because I think it's quite important before we go on to obviously starting 11s. Jack, if you want to take us through this is something that you sent us as well. So obviously that's looking at Fulham and the kind of the negativity and the downside to their game and how they were in the Championship. So I don't know if you want to take us through.
Yeah, exactly. So this is just showing where they concede most of their attacks for the whole of the season last season. So you can see their left back gets attacked quite a lot, which I think bodes well for us, obviously, with having probably the best player in that position in the world.
And Trent as well.
Exactly. So I think if we're gonna win this game, that's the area we need to focus on.
Who's their fullback?
It's Robinson.
I says Robinson or Byron. Or does he play as a fullback still, or is he further up?
In pre-season, it's been Robinson playing left back.
Yeah.
That's going to be difficult, isn't it? Because I do remember that in the last kind of slide that we showed, Byram's actually higher up for defensive.
Exactly, yeah.
So it will be interesting how we combat that, because Salah has looked sharp. I mean, in that Community Shield, in that first 10, 15 minutes, he was electric. So that's probably, especially there with Trent down that side as well, it'll be really interesting how they deal with that. Really, really interesting.
But to add to this as well, what I noticed as well from the attacks on the left-hand side, so down their right back, they actually conceded more shots through this channel rather than on the left back. So
this is why I can see Fulham
the shooting boots on.
I can see Fulham setting up 4-4-2. That screams to me, if you've conceded the most chances than your left-hand side, you're coming up against the best right winger in world football, the best right back in world football, they're going to load those wings. I think they're going to sacrifice that middleman, because Liverpool aren't a threat there in the middle whatsoever. Even if Núñez plays, he's the biggest threat centrally for Liverpool. He's going to play off the centre-back anyway. He's not going to come short and in that hole. So they're going to play 4-4-2. Or if they don't...
Was Robinson the one that used to play for Wigan?
Yeah, the American.
I think Salah will have more of a problem than we think, because he's very quick and he's very...
Just gonna say that.
He's very quick and he's very aggressive, but Salah does not do well against players like that at all. No. He seems to just get, I don't know why, but he can't play against players like that. I think Salah will have more of a problem than we actually think. That's why I was just trying to remember his name.
Who Robinson reminds me of? Last season, Salah struggled against Aït-Nouri from Wolves.
Oh yes,
He was when he went off, that's when Salah scored, because he went off injured. He went off injured, and then Salah got a bit more space. That's when we came into the game. Robinson, it reminds me just of Aït-Nouri, and he'll turn up against Salah.
You know what, Ash, that's spot on, because bar the Luke Shaw game, right? There was a game we went to Old Trafford. I think we drew, and Luke Shaw had Salah in his pocket. Bar that game, that's probably the one defender I've actually seen nullify Salah for the whole game. And like you said, it's only till he came off with an injury. Salah probably thought, then he assisted Origi.
I think Robinson. I think Salah might just, again, look, this is Salah we're talking about, world-class player and that, so let's not forget. But I've seen Salah, as we said, Nathan Nori, who's not a world-class player, had you in his pocket, bro. So I think Salah might just have a bit more.
Even Asad has said, or Alonso hasn't, but Rudiger's
not see. Asad knows what he's doing, not from start to finish. Ain't no, he did it from start to finish.
Yeah,
Rudiger and Alonso have
played the 1-2 in it. That's when Salah scored, and it's the 1-2 in behind.
Yeah, I've seen Rudiger do really well against Salah though, and in the draws that he had last season, he done really well. And when you're talking about a centre back going out wide into areas that they don't really want to do it, I think Rudiger done that probably the best last season because he didn't just stay central. And I know they play 3 at the back, but he did get out wide a lot of the time, like in comparison to like Christensen, who played on the right, who didn't push out as wide, which obviously just
in what you said then, because you mentioned earlier in the stream about Fulham and we were talking about tactics, and you think potentially they could go 5, or they could, if they was to play Paulinho and Tete, they could play 5 at the back. Do you think that might even be maybe looking at, obviously Chelsea's Chelsea, I know, big difference, but I'm just talking tactics, because as we've said, if you can get a centre back out to our wide players, you've still got one in the middle. So you're not, obviously it's only one, but you've still got someone plus your defensive players still there. Do you think that might be a way that they could, I'm not saying they will, but do you think they could do that?
It could be 100%. The problem is you need to be really, really good on the transition.
Yeah, of course.
Chelsea, obviously they don't finish really, really. Obviously they're not the best in terms of scoring goals, but the way they transition is really, really good. Like, you might not rate Jorginho, but Jorginho is one of the best players in terms of from deep splitting the team open with a pass to get you on that transition. Which means that can Paulinho do that? I've seen him do it, but can he now do it? Do you know what I mean? In the Fulham side that hasn't got as much of the ball and the quality, that's where the problem lies. I think even you look at Brentford done really, really well. It's because the transition they played really well. They were able to do that really well, but obviously they played a 2 up top, which meant that they just got balls forward in behind really, really quickly, as opposed to getting it along the floor. So
100%.
Jerry, you as a centre back, would you think that's the biggest misconception in football, that if you play 5 with a three centre backs, you're going to be more solid, more secure against like that front 3? You're always going to have a man spur. I think you've got to be a certain type of centre back. Look at Connor Cody, look at Rudiger, comfortable on the ball, comfortable going out to those wide positions, like Davis did at Tottenham as well for parts last season.
I think anytime I've played that 3 at the back, I've always hated playing 3 at the back. The reason is because pardon?
No, they're serious. And I was like, right,
I've hated it because what it is it's difficult. What side splits? So when you've got a centre back and you want to play at the back, right? Usually your 2 centre backs will split and your 6 will drop in, right? You could play like that when you've got the ball, or you could drop in to come and get the ball. When you've got the 3 centre backs, one side splits, but then one of the centre backs has got to get really, really, really high. Or the middle centre back is blocking the passing lane from the goalkeeper into the 6. So then you don't use a 6, but then it's difficult. Then you need to get like as you said, you need to have the right type of centre back that can get on the ball and drive through from midfield. I think Connor Cody's he's really, really underrated, but he's one of the best. He's one of the best players in a back 3 to be able to do that because he played as a midfielder. He does that really, really well. So he can step into midfield.
Jerry, even another player in that very team that's good at doing that is Kilman. I've seen Kilman do the same. I think that's through his futsal abilities, because he was very sound with the ball. He has the confidence to do that.
Yeah, I think Kilman 100%. And I think when you look at playing 5 at the back, you're obviously Chelsea dominate a lot of the ball because they've got the quality as well. So you've got that problem. But when you're playing against a team where the quality is more or less the same, your defenders, and you see it with Chelsea, have to be able to break the lines with their passes, because you don't want your 2 in midfield, or a lot of the time you've got not a double pivot, but you've got 2 in midfield. Or your midfielders, you don't want them to drop too deep, because what happens when they drop deep, that 5 turns into a 7. I mean, essentially, or that 3 turns into a 5, where it's like, oh, what's going on here? Where essentially what you wanted is to push your wing backs further forward. So you want your centre mids to stay really, really quite high, really, when you think about it. You don't want them to drop in too much, and you want your centre backs to push up. So it is difficult. It is difficult, man.
I guess that's where you got that. It's one of them ones where it seems like I've never played free at the back. I've never played in a system like that, but it seems like you got to just have a lot of trust in a lot of players, to be honest with you. Like, even though I know you're supposed to have trust anyway, but like these roles seem quite specific. They seem like they've got quite a heavy responsibility, both in possession, out possession, transition, all of these things. It seems like it's quite a lot to kind of just over a goal kick, for example. It seems like there's got to be like 10 different movements before we can even kick the ball. That sounds kind of difficult, man.
Yeah, it is difficult. I mean, it works well because you can obviously overload certain situations. So your 3 can overload a 2. So it means that you've always got an outlet ball. But then, as I said, you just need to be really, really comfortable unless you play a low block. But if you're playing a low block, and we've seen it with teams when they play 5 at the back and sit up against Liverpool or City, you see how City dismantle them because they can't get out. Because that one ball that goes at the top, it just comes straight back, and everyone's pinned back in a straight line because the wing backs can't get out. The centre mids can't get out because they're covering the centre backs, and the centre backs are just, heading stuff away. So it is difficult when you're playing.
I was gonna say in the modern day centre back has to be good with the ball at his feet anyway, but especially in a back 3. To agree with what Jerry was saying, especially in a back 3. I've played. Obviously, I'm more offensive, but I've played in a formation where you had a back 3, and I hated it.
Exactly. But before we head into obviously starting 11, I'm going to run through some of these comments and just do some housekeeping. So guys, please, we've had about 30 odd people in the chat consistently. Appreciate it so much. It means we're doing really, really, really well. But please, if we could get to 30 likes, that'd be incredible. At the moment,
hit it.
What are we on? Let's go and have a look. At the moment, we've got 28 likes. So guys, we're proper close. There's 2 more likes to that 30. So really, really appreciate it. It helps the channel grow. It lets us know that we're doing a good job for you guys. And as I said, entry to the show is just 1 like. So please smash it. Let's just run through some of these comments. Here we go. Here, Jamie Phillips saying, "Did someone laugh when I said we were going for the title?" I don't think so. I think we are going for the title. Whether we get it, that's a different question. But
it was me, Jamie. It was me. It was me.
Trudon saying the Serbian Drake will get 10 goals max. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
That is so rude.
I said the Serbian Drake.
Big up Ian Barron. Oi, everyone watching. Hope you are well. Big up Ian Barron. How you doing, man? Hope you're well.
Yeah.
Mark A agreeing with Romz as well. Musa Dembele was a baller.
Listen, in my opinion, he was top 10 ever PL, but because he didn't win anything, he was in a Spurs side. He doesn't get spoken in that level. But
do you know what everyone does, Romz? Stephen G said he was the most physical player that he come up against, hardest to get the ball against. So I'm with you, top 10 all time.
Bro, the Musa Dembele, he's so underrated. He was amazing. You couldn't get the ball off him. You couldn't. You just couldn't.
When I saw him live, it was like years ago now. It was Belgium versus England. I remember at the time you were still at Fulham, and I didn't even I didn't know that was him on the pitch, and I was like, who is that? And it's probably the best player on that field, and I was
I watched him live once. Tottenham played Palace, and Kane scored late. Tottenham got a 1-0 win, but what he was doing that game, put it like this: if he didn't play in that game, Tottenham lose that game. It's as simple as that.
Assad saying, I captained Salah in my FPL, so you man better win.
Same, bro. Same.
By the way, Romz is a new op on my list. I joined the club, Romz, man. Join the club. You're now up.
It's a love-hate. It's all love, Assad, but he's always on me. Vice versa.
As Jack's saying, smash the like, Gubs. Ricky's in the chat as well. So big up Ricky. A lot of the regulars in today. So appreciate a lot. Jamie Phillips saying the game's going to be very easy. As Fulham aren't going to have the ball. They don't. But if they counter really well, it doesn't matter.
Have to
If we can nullify that counter, it's great. We'll have to see. But they did score a lot of goals in the Championship.
Because Jamie, how many times do we have 80% of the ball? We're doing nothing with it.
Yeah.
The perfect game, it was the Salzburg game the other day. Just the whole second half, just passing it sideways, side to side, and yeah, man.
Yeah. Jamie Phillips saying that we never changed. It's in response to G saying we never changed tactics for City. So
I hear it. I do hear it.
Have you seen what City been doing for the last 2 years? Okay, maybe we might have to start changing them tactics, my friend.
Arsenal made 2 great signings, Speaker 1 and Speaker 2. Listen, don't hate on the speakers, man. Don't hate on the speakers.
They're just doing their job.
Yeah.
Jamie Phillips saying Fulham game plan is going to be to keep the score down and try win set pieces. I don't think so. I don't know, Jack. I don't know from the stats you saw. Were they potent at set pieces? Was that their main threat?
Not really. No, they were just dominant all over, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, they were winning 6-7-0 every week, weren't they? So, they
They're
were
a
playing
good
with
footballing team.
They were playing with such a high line as well. So, if they come out like that, that could play into our hands. But I don't think they will.
Yeah, 100%. 1975 Gmwk, big up Gmwk, saying bless up to the panel, bless up to you, man. Hope you're well. Jay Phillips saying here in regards to G's comment again, I don't know. I think that's a bit of a rivalry right now, man. But
today you lot are all trying it. I don't know what. Maybe I need to
in line. David saying VVD covers the space and got in line in the champs final, and it was a shot, not a cross.
It doesn't matter what it was, bro. Like
I think that was a superb pass. I don't think that was a pass. We like to say that as Liverpool fans, but that was actually a cross.
It makes us feel good because then it makes it look like it was an accident.
Yeah,
come on, man.
Yeah. That was just a percentage ball. It was like I'm smashing across the box. If someone gets a tap in, it goes in. Like you won't.
It's easier for us to come on this show and go, "Oh, Virgil's got no weaknesses." Like, do you know what I mean? But we can't do that.
Look at the whole game, man.
You've got to be honest. You've got to be realistic, innit?
He's human. As I've said, I don't think he should have won. He should have got in Team of the Year. I think Matic should have. I think Matic should have got in Team of the Year. I think Virgil gets it because of his name and because of although he had a good season, I think Matic was better than him. So
I agree.
I think the level that Virgil has set is so high. He does not hit that all the time. Like the level that he actually is, like he hits it every now and again. But when you see it, you're like, oh my days, this guy is like the best centre back in the world. But Matic was able to consistently reach a different level than he was on before. So I agree. I think Matic just outperformed him last season, but Virgil was still on top. Like he was still good.
Yeah, 100%. Mark K saying, big up Mark K. Mark K saying, the Brentford blueprint causes us major trouble because of our inflexibility. 100%, and we saw it, and it's just
that 3-3 game at Brentford's ground was just like watching a basketball game. You did not know which way that was going, honestly.
Yeah. Big up the OG himself. Saint in the building, so big up Saint. Gang inside, let's slap the likes, people. Please smash the likes. Guys, make sure as well to check out Saint LFC TV. Just had a Premier League prediction show yesterday, which was a really, really, really good show. So please check that out.
A bit more Premier J. We're going live at 11. Same thing. We're doing a Fulham preview as well, but it's going to be a late one because busy after this. But 11 p.m. So come join us there, man.
Yeah,
late night vibes.
Late night. Anyone that that wants some more LFC dosage? Do you know what I mean? Make sure to check that out. Marco saying Konate released a statement. What's that in to?
He's injured, isn't it? Konate's injured, I think.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Bro, is there something in the water?
Amazing.
Is there something in the water at the AXA training centre, bro? Why is everyone getting injured?
Amazing. I cannot wait to hear tomorrow who else is injured. Genuinely. Hey, JJ, you might as well start lacing up your boots, my bro. The way it's going.
Yeah.
No, but we've got Milner in it, so we're sweet.
No, we got Milner and we got Joe Gomez.
No. Our midfield is sorted as well. We've got Jay Spearing back. Remember, he's come back.
Yeah, Jay Spearing.
Gomez is fine with Dykes next to him. He'll be fine. Just not with Pneumatic or Konate.
I agree with this. I agree with you there, Romz. I agree.
Assad saying Fulham are getting clarted, man. This game's over before it started. Salah hat-trick. Listen, if that happens,
I pray that happens.
Great. Saint saying here, I love rivals' confidence. Watch Fulham turn into prime Barca and shake
That's what
every
I'm
man.
Don't say that, Shane. Don't say that, bro.
That's what we were worried about. Look, you're getting Jack was about to have a fit over there, man, with your comments. Yeah, so guys, cool. Starting 11s. And I think this is a great space because G...
Quickly, Simicast fit now?
No.
No, I don't. I think he's fit, but I don't think he's available.
Listen, he's not playing for the next 2 games, 3 games.
What about Alisson?
Yeah, what about Alisson?
Alisson's back.
He
Are
is
you
pretty
sure?
good.
I'm not sure.
Romz doesn't look sure. That's just... It looks like it's just an automatic response. He's back.
Yeah, like he's back.
No. Let's wait till the presser. But I heard he left him out of the City game, so he's
As a
proper
precaution.
prepared for Fulham.
Okay,
But we'll see. We'll see because Klopp could come out and say, Ali, he's still not ready in this situation. You never know, bro. So, yeah, let's just wait till the presser tomorrow. But I think he's fit. Let me say that. I think he's fit.
Cool. So starting 11s, you know what? Let's start with G because I know G's got a lot to get off his chest regarding certain individuals and
I love
that
Let's go.
How should I say it? That are kind of unavailable for selection. So G, what how you starting? Defense. Let's start with the defense. We'll run through everyone and then we'll go like that.
If Ali's fit, then obviously Ali. If not, then is Keller. Keller is not fit still, is he?
No.
Kelleher's not fit.
Then Ali or Adri, whoever's fit, basically will go and go. Same back 4. Robbo, Matip, Van Dijk, Trent. Midfield, Fabinho.
No, do the defense, and we'll do the defense first, and then we'll.
Sorry. Yeah, that's it.
We'll literally go across, so it'll be
Yeah.
Jack, Romz, G Jack, Ash, Romz, then myself. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with G on this one. Same back 5, Ali, with Matip as the second centre back.
Yeah.
Is this who we would choose?
No. Who you would? Yeah.
Predicted.
Not Klopp. It's yourself.
I think if Kanate's injured, it's got to be that. It's got to be that back 5, and if Kanate's injured,
I think we all agree. You might as well all agree.
Yeah,
that's the back 5.
But would you? But Ash, if Konate was fit, you would play Konate over Matip, then I assume.
I would, just because I think Fulham would set up 4-4-2, and I think Konate works better against a more physical, pacey kind of forward. So I think I would rather see Konate in there. We saw it against like Benfica, and I know Benfica like turned us over a little bit, but then he got more comfortable, got into the game. We always play him in these games where we could become troubled if a team plays like Brentford. So I would have played Konate, but Matip's like he's world class in it. Matip's top class.
Romz?
Yeah, the same back 5, and I still would, even if Konate was fit, I still would play Matip because I do feel for them they're gonna park the bus, and Matip, there's no better centre back than playing out, dribbling out, and he starts most of our attacks anyway. So I would still play Matip even if Konate was fit. And fullbacks pick themselves, and Van Dijk and Alisson.
Yeah, I might as well copy what you guys have said. Midfield.
This is where it's gonna get interesting.
Yeah, boy.
Would you play Naby Ox if they were available? Or?
I'm only playing Fab and Thiago in that midfield. That is it. No one else.
Wait, so what I said in the chat, G. So 4-4-2, you're hearing it?
No. 4-2-3-1. 4-2-3-1. I didn't know. I was getting onto the attack like later. Sorry, I was I included the 3 and the 1 as my attack.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but 4-2-3-1.
When you do 4-2-3-1, is your 3 a midfield 3? Or are they all classed as an
attacking 4?
Yeah. I don't even want these guys to see each other. Like, they got to be all the way up there, and you two can just hold it down back here. Simple as. The only way I think we could actually utilize, but we'll get onto that. But yeah, 2 in the midfield.
No, I'm going 3 in midfield. Fabinho, Hendo, and Thiago.
I'm going Fabinho, Thiago. Do you know what? Yeah, Fabinho, Thiago, and Hendo. I was gonna say Carvalho, but I want Fabinho and Thiago. So I might go with G, actually. I'm going to go with G. I'm going to go two-man, Fabinho and Thiago.
I'm agreeing with Ash and G. Wait, we're doing the midfield now.
Yes.
Actually, Fabinho and Thiago, then we're going to move on to the other three.
I'd go. I'm siding with Jack on this one. I think Hendo, Fab, Thiago. I don't think there's anyone else really. I wouldn't want to test anything out.
How embarrassing that is. I don't think there's anyone else really.
It's bad.
No, there might be.
They're all injured, aren't they?
Do you know what though, Jerry? Like, I'll just say this before you touch on what you want to say. If I would play Carvalho in a midfield three, but I wouldn't sacrifice Thiago. And Carvalho's not playing from the right-hand side. If we're playing a three, Klopp's going to have to choose between Thiago and Carvalho every week, which I don't like. Do you know what I mean? I would choose that three, but I don't think it's going to work under what Klopp wants to do.
I think Carvalho's going to play as a wide player, though. I don't see him playing in midfield this season, unless we're going up against Preston in the third round of, the Carabao or something, or the FA Cup. I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening. I think he's going to be the sub coming on for Diaz when Diaz has ran himself into the ground. I think we've seen it in pre-season. He's only played one game in midfield. So, all right. But G, if in regards to midfield, obviously we've got a lot of injuries, which I assume that's why you're playing that two in midfield. If I don't know, a Naby or perhaps a Jones or maybe even an Ox, if they were available, would you think about playing any of them?
Nah, there is no one. I'm even trying to just think off the top of my head, but there is no one else. Speaking of Ox, Ox, that guy, he's got to go as it is. He's got to go. That guy can't. We need to kick this guy out the club. He's got to go. 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 I'm tired of his name. I'm tired of everything about him as a person, as an individual, entity, the whole nine. You just got to go, bro. Honestly. And I wouldn't even have him in the squad anymore because even Klopp has come out to say in presses, he's looked at the squad and said, man, Oxlade-Chamberlain couldn't make a squad of 20 or however many you're allowed in a squad. And you're still coming out to say, this is so appalling that I can't put him into a squad. But you've got a squad of 20 players and you still couldn't put him in anywhere. You couldn't put him on the bench. You couldn't put him in the starting lineup. Nowhere. But then you're coming out to tell everybody that, it's really sad. I can't put him in because I've got a Tyler Morton or a this. Klopp, man. This Ox guy, he just got to go. But Jones and that, Jones is injured anyway, but Naby's like a maybe.
Do you know what that reminds me of? The way G said, I'm tired. Did you watch the Love Island series with Ovi?
Yeah.
I'm tired, man.
Bro, if I could cry, I would cry. If I could cry just to get my point across, I would do it. But we're clutching at straws now, man. We're clutching at straws.
My head's hurting, man. You kill me.
Yeah, I think.
Do you know what? I couldn't even laugh when G said that. I couldn't laugh because it actually pisses me off. I'll get to it in a minute anyway. We'll let Jack choose his. We'll let G choose his three first. G just went to Ox, but
he chose Fab and
Fab and Thiago.
We're on attack. We're not on the three though.
No, but we'll stay on midfield because we might as well. I mean,
you know what? Okay, I'll put it to you guys. Yeah, I'll put it to you lot. What would you do with a player like that?
With Ox?
Yeah, so a player who doesn't ever turn up for work. When he does turn up for work, he's not even that good.
Right.
What do you do with a player like that? I don't even
know what it is, right?
You have to terminate the contract. He's got to go, bro.
Yeah. It's not even the fact, we've been so pleasant. We've been so polite to you, Ox. So polite. We've asked you to leave, please. Please go.
He's that stepchild we don't like.
You just said Jurgen Klopp doesn't even put him in the matchday squad when he's fit. So why is he taking up £120,000 worth of wage bills? Do you know what it is? He's injured that much. Any other walk of life, he's on sick pay now. Pay him £99.35 a week. That's what I'm doing. I'm paying Ox £99.35 a week because you're always sick. Any other job, that's what you're getting paid. You're not collecting wages just for doing nothing, for sitting at home and, I don't know, listening to the latest Little Mix tracks. I don't know what he's doing, but it's time. Just go, please. Just I don't want to be disrespectful, but you're making us making us disrespectful though now.
No, it is time now. I'm sorry, but my bro, you've got to go. It is done. You are that stepchild we didn't like.
The famous Little Mix. The famous Little Mix.
You're that stepchild we didn't like.
You're the stepchild we didn't like, bro. I promise you, you just got to go now. I'm tired of you.
His partner's own group have the famous lyrics. Get your back off the wall. Don't you get comfortable. That's what Ox needs. He needs to listen to them lyrics and take heed.
It literally needs to. And do you know what he needs to do? Just grab Cater on his way out as well.
Because, that'd be sick. That'd be sick.
Because our fans still, this ship is still at the shore for our fans. That sailed for me before the Champions League final. Forget that shot. It just, and you know what's disheartening about Cater? This is one of his better seasons in terms of fitness-wise, and I just still didn't really see much. People bring up the Atletico game, but it was a tale of two halves because, yes, he scored, but then some of the people letting the plays run past him was mad. And even a Newcastle game, it was good, assisted Jota, but it wasn't throughout the whole. He kind of tailed off. It's like he will hit a certain level during a game and can't maintain it. And it's like,
you know what Naby Keita does? It's like, do you know when you have that dream and someone's chasing you and you're trying to run away? That's how Naby runs. It's like, bro,
you know, you can't
why
run.
are you not like running like literally with the long stuff? Like, get Naby.
I think what Silly Junior is saying here as well, I think it speaks a lot of volume. I think teams are in for him and then he gets injured.
This is a goated comment.
So it's impossible to sell him. The only way you're going to get rid of him is obviously for him to see out his contract. I don't know what you think, Jack. What would you do with Ox? Or
yeah, I mean, it feels very much like when he was finishing his Arsenal career. Like they just wanted to get rid of him, and it just feels like that's where we're at with him now. That injury he's just got now. Yeah, I'm definitely just done with him.
Do you know what makes me most mad, Jack? The fact that we've just said, you've just seen the comment that you've just pulled up. Mm-hmm. Every pre-season, end of the season, Ox is injured. So why, when we renewed Ox's contract, I don't know when it was, why are we offering an injured player 120k a week, but we're not giving Sadio Mane anywhere near that when we renew his contract? Sadio Mane got 100k on his renewed contract. And Oxlade-Chamberlain got 120. I don't understand where the logic is. Like,
do you think
that's what makes me so angry? I think.
I know this sounds silly, but do you almost think Ox times his injuries that, you know, they might sell me this summer, so let me just maybe fake an injury or something. Because you know what?
I hope it's that.
You remember earlier I was saying to you that, we should have sold him to West Ham for 10 million. West Ham probably put the bid through and said, no, let me press the delete button because he's not going to play for us. You know what, Siri Junior, that's actually a goated comment because it's true. We want him sold, but who's going to buy him?
Yeah, it's true. And I think the madness is about is that obviously we're not going to get into it obviously initially because this is the preview, but we need like the fact that we're not addressing certain areas of the squad and we're already seeing injuries that are affecting our depth because you're looking at it and now Krauendorf is pushed up and he's one of the three options on the right-hand side of the midfield. I think that's crazy. I think
what's the issue? Do we actually know what the issue is with Curtis Jones yet? Like,
no, it looks serious though. It looks like
serious. He was in a boot. Do you know what I mean? Look kind of serious.
Yeah, from what I know, when you're in a boot and you've got crutches, usually a boot's put on.
Yeah,
so you don't need crutches because it means that you've got kind of a buffer and you're protecting. You can walk and mimic the kind of act of walking. The fact he's got crutches on as well, I think it's a bit worrying. But let's move on because we don't want to stay on the midfield for too long. Up front, who are we starting with?
Diaz, Carvalho, Salah, Nunes.
Of course, because you're playing a 4-2-3-1, isn't it?
Yeah. Playing a 4-2-3-1.
Okay. I think so you take Carvalho in the 10, even though he hasn't played there in pre-season.
That's his only position. I think he cannot. I was about to say he can't play wide. He can play wide. He's not good out wide, in my opinion. for what we need for wide players. We need dynamic wingers, and he's not a dynamic winger. He's like a Coutinho, as we know. He likes to come in. He's that kind of player, and I think with his skills and stuff like that, you saw against Man City when Núñez scored his goal. Who was right behind him? It was Carvalho.
Carvalho made the run.
Carvalho, but Carvalho, when I was watching him, he seems to like that being so close to Núñez. Even when he's playing off the left, they seem to be fairly close to each other. So I think put him right behind Núñez. I can't see what's wrong.
Can I just add to that as well? Remember, Jerry, we were doing a watch along. Núñez's goal when the keeper spilled it against Leipzig was the same thing. Carvalho was right next. I think he even assisted him, in fact. I thought Núñez kind of made the run to take away the defender to open up for Carvalho to take a shot. And he cut it back the reverse ball and played it to him. And you know why that's so intelligent by Núñez as well? When Carvalho gains a bit more confidence in shooting, that's where I think Carvalho will get his goals. Núñez making the selfless runs, pretends he's going to possibly play the reverse ball, and then maybe curls one. You know what I mean?
That's why I think it could be a good option there.
Whilst Jack's in here, I want to big up Jack because Jack pointed this out a couple of weeks ago when we were doing a Carvalho analysis. Carvalho loves to get into the box. Where Coutinho takes those shots from the edge of the box, Carvalho is very selective. I'll let Jack talk about it a little bit more, but I just want to big up Jack for spotting that because
So last season with Mitrovic, you'd see Mitrovic drop and Carvalho would actually go past them. And I think it would be very similar to with the Núñez and Carvalho if you were to play the system that you were saying, G. And Carvalho would get into that box and score. I think he's already confident enough anyway with shooting. He nearly scored against United. He hit the post, didn't he? So, but for me, at the moment, I don't think he'll be starting many games at the moment. I think it'll be a bedding in time. So my front three would still be Diaz, Bobby, and Salah. But I think later on in the game, like we saw in the Community Shield, I think Elliott, Carvalho, Núñez, I think we'll see them come on.
I agree with that team that Jack's even, like the whole team that you've just said. That's the team I think he's actually going to go with. I just wouldn't obviously go, but I think he would go with that. And as Jack said, later on in the game, as we saw against City and all of that, that's when he might, if we're winning like 3-0, switch it up a little. We've got 5 subs as well, so.
So Jack, quick one. Why would you play Bobby as opposed to Núñez?
I think it's just because we've just signed these players. I think it's just a bedding in. That's me personally. That's how I would do it. Because for me, like, what happens when it doesn't work straight away, and then you bring Bobby on? I think it's more impactful to bring Núñez on than Bobby.
I agree with that. And
very true.
Actually, you know what? You're right, because I've been saying for a long while, I don't think Bobby's
game changer.
I don't know if you've heard, Jack, but I'm the advocate for saying that we should actually get rid of Bobby. And the reason is because I believe he's the type of player that needs to play games to be at his best. So he plays 5, 6, 7, 10 games, you might get a really, really, really good Bobby. Problem is when he comes off the bench, you're expecting him to make an impact. And is he the type of player that can come off the bench and make an impact? I haven't seen it.
And I think later on in the season, we've bought Núñez for 60-odd million. He's not going to not start him.
So, to cut you lot, some disappointing news. Apparently, Konate could have surgery.
Oh, right.
It's not a certainty, but
what is it? What's the injury on?
It's a knee, isn't it? Remember, when his knee twists, then it's got caught in the ground, and they had that knee.
I didn't even see this. I heard about it, but I didn't
this happened in the
Strasbourg game.
It's not confirmed, but it's a possible. Oh, that's just annoyed me.
Like, we've seen Van Dijk come back from this ligament. I'm guessing it's ligament. If it's the knee, it's a twist. It'll be a ligament.
It's MCL because
it
wasn't complete. It wasn't like Virgin, like Zoom.
But when you look at injuries like this, any kind of pressure on it after surgery, they go again. It's a weakened area. Gomez hasn't come back the same. We know that. Virgil's just an alien, so you can't judge it off Virgil. Everyone says ex-pros, whatever. This injury, like knee, ligaments, It's not a good one. 22 years of age as well. He's a big guy. Let's not forget, he bases his game on power, physicality. Like, that's high impact on his knee. That's
let's obviously pray. I mean, none of that happens.
We're just dropping like flies, man. Just dropping like
what?
Flies.
Sorry, before you.
One thing is at Kirkby. So there's something in the water.
I was just about to ask, man. Like, before you guys obviously go into your teams, like, what do you think it is? Before we even get too deep into it, what do you think it is? Because this is becoming a little bit ridiculous. Like, it was funny before, like, oh, here we go again. But I'm now actually getting pissed off because we're just actually genuinely dropping like flies.
You know what, G? We used to be this used to be Arsenal. Arsenal used to
get
injuries.
But hold on, Romz.
We brought Arsenal's physio department. Yeah, we brought them in.
Yeah,
that's what I was going to say. Sorry, Jerry.
Yeah, go on.
I didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry. We brought in the medical department in from Arsenal. This is what I was going to say. I don't think it's a injury-prone player. When was Keita injury-prone? He wasn't. Yeah. I've never known Thiago be so injury-prone. Yes, Ox was, but it happens to everyone. It's the midfield positions. So I think it's the intensity that we play at in midfield.
That's what I was going to say.
The hamstrings, definitely that. But what are the physio department doing? Because are they forcing people? Are they forcing people back too soon? Are we coming back too soon?
I think the problem you've got is that I think it's evident to see that Klopp likes a really, really close, tight-knit squad, and he doesn't like a lot of rotation. He's not someone that wants a big squad. The one time he's had a big squad, you could see he kept complaining about, oh, it's so sad, Minamino can't get minutes, and the fact Ox can't play, and all this whole thing. The season,
it's so sad.
No, but he did. He did. And then the season after, he's let go with all of these players. I mean, it's not like we've replaced these players with the squad there. We let
our best. The midfielder that never got injured, most consistent
this year.
Yeah. So, and what I think it is now is that it's that alongside the intensity and what it requires from these players. I think when you look at the physios, there's not much that they can do because we saw it. Hold on, I brought this up on one of the streams. Our players are in the red. Like Trent last season was in the red.
Red. So, when you say red, like red zone in terms of that,
in the red zone,
where he shouldn't be playing.
That put it out there as well. So big up. He was in the red zone for like 60% of games.
I can't lie. Klopp. Me and Saint alluded to this. Klopp is to blame for some of this as well because that Fabinho's in the red before that Villa start. What does Klopp do? He plays him. He pulls up within the first 10 minutes. I think it was.
Yeah.
That. It's not even just our physio staff. It's also, it can be down to Klopp. I'm not saying Klopp's at full blame, but sometimes it's just common sense because we were screaming for Hendo to start that game. And so now, I mean, I truly believe Fab weren't fully fit in that Champions League final at all.
What we're coming down to again, though, like, is depth. Like, we keep saying this. Why are we not getting someone in when Fabinho's injured? Hendo can't do that role. He can't do it. Milner can't do it. Why are we not getting people in? I said the other day, Liverpool playing a double pivot makes sense so much because if Fab goes out, I'm happy seeing Thiago and Hendo there. That's a good double pivot. I'm happy seeing Hendo and Milner. Thiago and Milner in a double pivot. That's fine because you can replace and we can do the same job. But if you're playing that single pivot, no one else can play that role apart from Fabinho. What we're looking at.
One guy that can, but Klopp won't give him his chance. He's inexperienced, but I think that's where you bring in the Bajetics. But Klopp may not have that trust in him just yet. And I do kind of get, especially in a league game, inexperienced, trying to go for the title. Every game matters. You might not have that trust in him, but if it was 2, 3, 4 years down the line, Bajetic is ready for me. But would Klopp start him? That's
what Jerry said the other day, though. If you're ready, innit, Jerry?
Ready, I just watched this. Fabregas doc. Sorry, I don't know if you watched it on ITV4 last night. If you haven't, wicked documentary is an hour long, and it's similar. Like Bajetic is coming into a very good team. That says Fabregas. He was taking the mantle of Vieira. He ultimately got Vieira sold. He was 16. If you're good enough, you're good enough. Like you actually are.
Yeah, I don't believe in this whole thing about he's not ready. Wait for him.
Oh
to
yeah, no.
We saw it even with Dele
I
Alli.
used to. I actually
Dele Alli
used to.
falling off a cliff, but Dele Alli came from MK Dons in League One. Has come in. Went straight into Tottenham's first team and was badding it up for like 2 seasons where he won Young Player of the Year. If you're good enough, and you just play. Like
Even with Tuchel. Go on, G. Actually, I'll just quickly finish this point. Even Tuchel with the new Carney guy, I think Tuchel will trust him, and you'll see him flourish. We may even have missed a trick with Carney, but I think we're holding out potentially for Bellingham. But I think he's one of them players. Yeah, he's 18, 19. But he's good enough, so he will play.
Yeah, we'll see.
There's a comment Mark has just, I think he put, I don't know how long ago, saying, that one. Our style of play requires constant rotation or constant refreshment of players. Exactly that. We do neither, though. He either has a small squad, so he can't really rotate because it's so small that you're only going to play a few people, but you need it. Then you have such a big squad, and you're not really even rotating, so to speak. It's just really when a player gets injured, that's when he rotates. And I'm like, well, the whole point is
I think the problem you've got though is to go and play that Klopp system. It can't be you can't rotate the squad because he needs everyone knowing what they're doing. He needs everyone doing a specific job and knowing.
And if one cog doesn't work,
the whole thing collapses.
Yeah.
But then surely
the problem is you can't
make a different club.
Exactly, you can't replicate that rotating players, and we've seen it. We go and have Fabinho, we go and play someone else in there, and we see a drop off straight away with how we're trying to do stuff. When Gini wasn't playing, when Gini was available, you saw, oh my god, our midfield's got nothing there. When when Keita comes in or Ox comes in, we're looking at midfield saying, oh, you know what, we're not defending well. I know he's getting forward and he's scoring goals, but Trent's getting exposed. We need to bring Hendo back on to see out the game. That's the reason why. And I think and that's what I said. Our system isn't conducive enough to go and play the amount of games that we play and challenge on all fronts. It's not. It works when you're building something, when you just got 1 game a week or maybe perhaps 2. But you've seen it. The reason why City, in my opinion, are dominating is that style of play means that it's not as intense. You get less injuries. You're able to go and dominate the ball in different ways. You're not relying on we're going to play a high line because we're teasing you with that ball in behind, knowing that we're going to win it and then come back at you. And it's all chaos. It's the chaos that Klopp likes to play with it. I don't think it helps us.
Oh, I was having a good day, I just
do you know what I'm going to say?
No, man.
Yeah, last one before we go into score predictions, isn't it?
I've not even picked my front.
Oh yeah, you got to go.
Romz hasn't. But before I pick my front 4, this just screams to me 2021. Kanate's getting injured. Everyone's getting injured early in the season. If we cannot smell what the Rocky's cooking, so to speak, why are we not going buying somebody? It just makes sense. If you went in and got that central defensive midfield player, that solid player, Kanate's injured. That covers just in case for centre back. It covers central midfield. We need a right winger as well. I'm not going to lie. Who's coming in?
Elliot.
I can't lie, Ash. This is where I disagree. Because I was thinking this. I was actually with you 4 or 5 weeks ago, but when I'm actually breaking it down, then again, there's a first time for everything. But if we're going off past seasons, Salah's not going to the World Cup. He looks after his body so well.
He does. Yeah.
I hear what you're saying, Ash, because not every season is going to be the same. What if, God forbid, this is the one season he does get injured? Then your point is very valid. But if we're going off the evidence, I'm not sure if that right wing's as much of a priority.
But then we could have said that about Van Dijk when we didn't know that he was going to get that mad injury.
I think
we can't even take that chance, bro. That chance should even be taken.
You're right.
I think we've got to remember as well that Elliot's been playing on the right wing in pre-season. He's going to be the replacement for Salah when Salah's not playing. If you look at Elliot, to be fair, we talk about midfielders and look. Maybe Bajcetic is going to play.Maybe he is. Maybe the fact that he's played in pre-season, maybe the fact Morton's actually gone on loan after Klopp spoke and spewed out of his mouth that,
Which is another mad decision.
Wow.
and sent him on loan. Maybe Bajcetic is the one that, he's going to actually play. Maybe he's going to be the one when Fabinho's tired, he comes on and sees that again.
When he was like, come out and said, wow, what is
I swear I died every time JJ says it, bro.
Right, it's the way he says it. What did Ashley last time we were in tears? Klopp and Pep ended.
That's literally what they're still doing now. It is okay because whatever we do this season, we overachieve. Yeah, let's go.
Can I just put it out there as well? Yeah. If you're new and watching this, first things to do is smash the likes. But if you're new and you're coming onto this and thinking we're scrutinizing, we're being negative, we're not. We just love our club. We're speaking from the heart. This is emotion. It's not being negative. We just really love our club. And we're just fed up of certain things that are just happening season after season. Oh.
All right, cool. Ash, starting front four. Yeah, front four for you.
Diaz, Bobby, Nunes, Salah. For me. I think, look at Bobby's career now. Bobby can't keep chasing the centre-backs down. He can't keep chasing everyone down and be that pressing player. If we're keeping Bobby now, and you're talking about signing a new contract, because that's what's been coming out. Yeah. Let's look at now then, that transition, let's play Bobby in the 10 role, because that's where he started his career when we signed him. He was playing as a 10 for Hoffenheim. Was Hoffenheim?
Yeah.
So why not get him back in that position now? He doesn't have an impact from the bench. He needs to start games. He needs to feel his way into a game, get those bad touches out the way. Bobby, to me, that's the perfect fit now. Playing in behind Nunes. Nunes doesn't need to worry about defensive duties. He can just worry about being a goal scorer. That would be my 4-2-3-1. That's how I'd set up. I wouldn't have Elliott or Carvalho because, like you said, I think Carvalho is going to play from the left this season. So yeah, that's why I'd go with.
Just to go, this is what we personally would play, and not what Klopp's going to do, right?
Yeah, we will personally play. We can't, obviously, we don't know what Klopp's going to do in it. We all know what Klopp's going to do, to be fair, but
just to go on mine, the thing is, I hear what Jack and Ash, all of you made very good points. Bobby is ineffective off the bench now. We know it. We tried it last season. He just is. However, this might be my Carvalho bias, but I'm just going off pre-season and the chemistry they've built. I'm putting Carvalho in the 10, Salah on the right, Diaz on the left, and Nunes up top. The reason why I'm starting with Nunes, I understand we set the blueprint of embedding players, integrating them quite slowly. But listen, Nunes is probably thinking, I've just scored a goal against arguably the best team in the country. Let me take that confidence into the first game of the season. That's how I'm looking at it. And I honestly believe if Nunes starts this game, and I honestly believe this, I think he gets a brace. I actually think he doesn't even get one goal in this game. I actually think he's going to get a plethora of chances. Him and that Carvalho and Nunes chemistry, I think he'll excel. And that's why I think we'll score a lot. But that's my front four. And to add to it, I don't bring Bobby on at all. I'd rather probably start Bobby in the next game against Palace, but Bobby doesn't see minutes in this game.
Yeah, if Bobby doesn't start games, don't bring him on.
By the way.
Yeah.
I think
I love Bobby.
One of the things that Romz just said there about the relationship between Carvalho and Nunes. One of the things that I feel the reason why I don't think we would win the league is because I feel that teams have wised up to the way that we play normally, and I think because teams have wised up and I feel. Last year, I saw it quite a bit. Yeah, we won games and we was going on runs 100%, but it was just more down to just wearing teams down at a point and just banging on that door so much. We've got more individual quality. That's more or less what it came down to in most games. I think if we're able to surprise teams a bit more this season with the quality that we actually do have, I then think we would almost take our game. I'm not saying just a change of tactic takes our game to a whole different level, but it just changes it a bit and it stops us from being so predictable. I'll never forget what Ancelotti said, because I've never heard a manager ever come out before or after a game and say, we knew how they were going to play. Like, we knew they were going to do this, they were going to do that. So we just need to make sure we do this. And that is it. He made it seem like it was so easy to play against us. And the reality was, it kind of was at the end of the day. Like you were able to do what you wanted to do, what you needed to do, which was you wanted to score and shut up shop. You know, Liverpool going to get chances, etc., etc. And that's the issue that I have. Why I think playing with a different tactic might just help us. Certain games, not all the time, just some games you might just need to switch it up. But I don't feel that we do that enough, to be honest with you.
Yeah. 1 second, G, before we move on, because Yido's made a comment here that
I was going to say, pull this up. Like, Jackson's Scouse here, isn't it? Like, come on.
Yeah.
What does it matter anyway? Why do we need a Scouse?
We talk about Liverpool being, do you know what I mean, a massive, massive global club. Do you know what I mean? It's so massive in all 4 corners of the world.
It's when it suits. It's when it suits. Not you, Jack. This isn't aimed at you.
No, I know that. I know.
But it's like Scouts would say we're such a big club. Look at our fan base and whatnot. And then the minute you hear Liverpool fans that don't live in Liverpool, you just want to kind of belittle us. It's just when it suits them. It's crazy.
You know what the easiest thing to do as well, Romz? The easiest thing for us to do now is lick Liverpool's arsehole so that we look like true fans.
Exactly.
But because we are true fans, because we love the club, we're giving you an honest opinion, but you don't like that honest opinion, so you say, oh, it doesn't matter because they're not Scouse, they're not true Reds, so it doesn't matter. And like, come on. Like, this is what? It's 2022, man.
I don't even want it to be fair entertaining, but I just thought I'd draw that out. And I mean, look, like, I appreciate you being on the show and stuff, but if you don't like it because you can't hear one Scouse accent, and it is what it is, man. Like, do you know what I mean?
Let's move anyway. Let's move.
Yeah.
So guys, we've done I haven't done my front three, have I?
No.
My front three would be Diaz, Salah, Nunes, and I think echoing just what Romz said, I think he's got to build up confidence. He's our main man. If he's our talisman, he's meant to be our talisman. Then he's got to go and get the goals. He's got to be. Klopp's got to put the trust in him and say, "You are our main man." If Bobby keeps playing, it's almost like he's second fiddle still. And with that price tag, I feel like a number 9, you have to go and those players, like even like a Lukaku, he struggled because the faith wasn't put in him. Whether it was right or not, Lukaku struggled because it was like, I'm not the main guy. Anywhere where he's been the main man, look at Everton, even Inter Milan, whether you like Tyler player or not, West Brom, he scored goals. He's done what he's had to do. And I think with Nunes, you've got to kind of adopt that kind of feeling as well. But before we run through the comments and head out, guys, score predictions. G.
2-0.
3-0. 3-0.
I don't. Ash. No, go on, Ash. Go on.
1-0. Liverpool.
Romz.
Jamie Phillips, if you're still in here, I'm with you, brother. But 4-0.
What are you telling me, JJ? What's your score prediction?
I'm going 2-1. I'm going 2-1. I think Fulham score first as well.
That's a good show.
If it's going to be a score like that, then 2-1.
Yeah, I think Fulham score first, and then we come out on top. Let's just run through these comments. Listen, guys, I'm going to check how many likes we're on, but it's been incredible. The amount of people that have just tuned in as well, like, it's been amazing. So props to everyone on the panel. So Ash, Romz, Jack, G, as well as everyone in the chat as well, because it's been incredible. We're on 41 likes, guys. Like, boom. That for me, I'm not going to lie, is a record, like, during the live stream as well. So big up everyone that's contributed to that. I really, really appreciate it. Let's just run through some of these comments before we got as well. Sui saying the cater disrespect. Listen, I don't think Cater has proved to anyone that he's got the minerals to be the main guy at Liverpool. So
and that shooting technique, him and Robbo's shooting technique, they need to be staying late. They need to be staying 2-3 hours later than everyone else, and just with a bag of balls and just shooting.
Why Salah is not chilling with them after training and that and doing shooting? I don't know why, but
the worst part of it all, like, Katie, you've got number 8. So even if you're playing well, you've got to be playing top level if you're wearing that number 8. So I'm sorry. Either give us the shirt back or go.
100%. Shiva's comic dance saying Curtis Jones as the water boy. Not sure if his decision making is quick enough though. Listen, people know me and Ash's affinity with Jones. We're in the Jones band. So Please, no slander on this channel.
I'm in
please.
there.
It kills me this.
My
It
sanity.
kills me, but I kind of hear what people are saying a bit more. Curtis Jones, I feel sorry for Jones because we said this the other day, like Yaya Toure at Barca, he's just not being utilised in the right way.
Yeah.
I think if he goes somewhere else, you see an England player in Curtis Jones if he's played the right way. Just like Gallagher got a call up, Curtis Jones would get a call up if he's playing for Crystal Palace or someone like that.
Exactly. Marque saying, hold on, not Marque. Yeah, where Marque in response to obviously Ox, the problem is we were willing to give Ox another chance. Why? And we know, big up we know as well in the chat saying, look, it's Klopp's false hope. And it's this gassing and it's this gaslighting that sometimes on the outside it looks like Klopp's giving that. For me, it's just Jesus Christ. Ryan LFC, big up Ryan LFC as well.
Ryan,
Big up Ryan, man.
Yeah, he's doing massive things, especially from the kind of Jamaican side of it as well.
My compatriot.
You got Ryan. Make sure to subscribe to Ryan LFC TV as well and check him out. And then on Insta as well. His Insta isn't Ryan LFC though. It's
LFC Domination.
Domination. There you go. So please, guys, make sure to check him out on LFC Domination. Great guy, man. Big up. Trudeau saying this squad is made of glass.
I love Trudeau because Trudeau is honest with it as well.
Bro, he just
What KV, Trudeau, Terry, that's just all.
Exactly. Sui saying Keita was brought to play Oxlade 17-18 role, but then when he arrived a year later from Leipzig, Linders had replaced Buvac and the midfield role completely changed into something that's
interesting.
That is really interesting. If the dates align, Sui,
yeah, that's it. That is, yeah, I've got to give that.
That is probably one of the best analysis. Listen, I'm gonna have to start that. That's incredible. That's a great bit of analysis, Sui. Big up. Jamie Phillips saying apparently Liverpool have come to a deal to sign Jude next summer.
I've been hearing this the past 3 weeks.
No.
It's boring.
Unless I see any tangible evidence, that's just hearsay for me. Because
going back to that last comment, Jerry, when did Gini Wijnaldum sign?
2016 summer.
So Buvac was still there.
That one season under Buvac.
The Mane season. Yeah. Remember, he signed the same season as Mane.
It was him, Matip, and Mane that
at the moment. That was the first season.
Him, Matip, and Mane, innit? Were the 3 summer signings, I think.
Is it? You see the kit, Jack? Is it that top? Is it that year?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Because I remember
Mane and Wijnaldum.
Yeah, that's the year
Yeah.
Matip was with them that summer as well, innit?
Yeah.
And I think we had to beat Middlesbrough. We had to beat Middlesbrough last day to get 4th. I remember that season. Yeah.
Middlesbrough.
Yeah. Marque saying Jota always spoken about as an option at right wing by Pep.
Not a chance. Not a chance, man.
Let's not even get into that.
This is what we're going to end up seeing, though. The end of the season, we're going to see Jota on the right. We're going to end up seeing some ridiculous. It's just going to be mad.
It'll be Diaz on the right before Jota.
Yeah, Diaz will.
Yeah. Statman Stubb saying, afternoon, guys. How are you all doing?
Yes, all good.
Statman. Make sure to check out his channel.
Big up, Statman.
Big up. Little man saying, we need a midfielder, but do we know in 2022 we were the best team in the Premier League by 12 points? We remember a lot what happened in the beginning of the season and not second half of the season.
It's a full season, though, isn't it? Like, it's not a half a season Premier League trophy, innit? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, big up. Yeah. For me, I don't know when you're saying that, but what I'm saying
is it's not changed the landscape.
Well, and I think we've done well, but the problem is that we're not a team that's trying to compete. We are trying to win. So what's the next step? Trying to win. It means that clearly what we're talking about here, being the best team in the Premier League by 12 points, it still wasn't good enough because it still didn't win. It doesn't matter if we're the best team by 50 points. I remember the Sky Sports sometimes just put out these stats where you see Tottenham, do you know what I mean? They were top of the league from January to March.
In the calendar year.
In the calendar year, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. You know what I mean? It's not great.
The elite sport is about winning and lifting up that shiny silver thing at the end of the campaign. And That's what matters, man.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this is all just going to be memories.
Yeah. Sui saying, did we even try to play 4-2-3-1 in preseason?
Once.
I also think Klopp
Once.
Once.
And we scored 4 goals in one half.
It was once.
There you go.
Mark asking, does Diaz score?
No.
No, but I think he assists.
Does he ever?
I like that response.
Yeah. Jody P saying, and big up Jody P, saying, I've come round to all the LFC fans on YouTube. We are running a risk now at midfield due to all these injuries already piling up. I don't see it happening, but we could use another body for sure. 100%, I don't see it happening, but another body I think is just smart. And I'm not saying get the best in quality and get a Verratti, but I trust the club to go and if they went and got whoever,
James Ward-Prowse for me. James Ward-Prowse.
Yeah, James Ward-Prowse or whoever, like a Michel Seri or someone from Nice. I'd be like, okay, he could cost 5 million, but I'd be like, all right, well, that's cover for midfield then. And I feel as though we would have strengthened the areas that we need to strengthen.
Where did Zakaria go to? Because was he a
He was at Juventus.
Juventus.
Yeah.
Why do Juve always do this? Juve always get them. Just no competition. Why does nobody compete with
I'm buying.
You
could argue buying as well. And then
Zakaria, perfect fit. Perfect fit for us.
The first line of that previous comment of J-Ray is that I finally come around to all of LFC YouTube. I feel like a lot of top Reds are slowly realizing these aren't as negative as we think. There's actually truth in what they're saying.
100%. Michael Houghton, appreciate obviously you being in the chat, Michael. Saying
Jack knows who he must know who this person is. He's smiling. He's smiling.
Yeah.
Big up, man. Saint saying, "Oh, Nigel, you're smashing it. Keep up the good work. Big up the panel. Bun Romz and his hairline."
I was busting up at that when I saw it earlier on.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, bun that hairline, man's too sharp. Little man saying, Klopp did win back-to-back Bundesligas and went to Champs final with a 4-2-3-1 system. I think there is a solid reason why he hasn't gone back to that.
Then what is the reason?
What is it?
If he just gone back
Let
to
us
back.
know, Klopp. So we know.
Yeah.
I wish we went back to back. Last comment, we know saying, why don't we use the loan market? Decent quality, big
We know you're a genius. I was having this discussion with my boy the other day that I feel like Jerry, I know we have to wrap this up, but I feel like top clubs have this thing of it's kind of like because we're big, it doesn't suit us. We don't need to loan, but there's no hurt. There is no harm in a loan, you know.
No,
there is actually no harm.
Like, look at Barcelona.
More or less,
ease up that wage bill. Get a Sergio Roberto in. Get someone like that in just to kind of pack your midfield.
Yeah. And problem is, though, you've got Jody. Go on, Romz.
Just quickly, more or less, if they enjoy the loan spells well, you're more likely to buy them. They go back to their club and say, "Look, I enjoyed my time." Happened with Odegaard with Arsenal.
Yeah,
it can happen.
But on that comment, obviously, Jody P saying, question for you guys then. If we do bring in a stopgap midfielder like Sergio Roberto, how long in our system / training would he need before he can be relied upon to be used in games? And we've seen it. Any players that we've loaned in under Klopp, so Corker, we had Cabal, we had all these types of players. Like all these types of players that we loaned in, they never played. They hardly got a run of games where it was like, all right, look, this player's part of our team and we're going to try to get him in the team. Because as Jody's saying here, Klopp doesn't throw midfielders into the fire unless there's like 3 months of bedding in time. It's too late now, I fear. Because 3 months in, do you know what I mean, into the Premier League.
They've missed the whole pre-season, so they'll probably, God forbid, they'll pick up an injury because of the intensity But
if you're going in getting a Premier League proven midfield player, they know what the league's about. And I know it's a different system, but if you're a professional footballer, you should be able to come into a system and kind of do a job.
Klopp likes those minor details, though, isn't it?
Quickly,
fit part of the thing.
So. They'll extort us, but would you take a Neves from Wolves? They will extort us, to be fair. They will.
I would take him. I think he's a good player. I'd have him in the squad. Why not?
Set piece specialist, goals from midfield. It makes sense.
100%.
That's why I would have him, because I feel he'd be a player that we do not have. Someone who can just shoot from outside the box. Just do that.
And someone that not in the same way, but like a Thiago can dictate a midfield as well.
Physical, likes a physical battle too.
Yeah.
It takes time to learn chaos.
But guys, it's been a great show. We're literally streamed for over 2 hours, so it's been a crazy one yet again. I want to appreciate everyone that's tuned in. I'm just checking now.
How much are we on?
We've got, 43 likes. We're up to 221 subs as well. So it's been a massive increase. Listen, just in the show. So I appreciate the support a lot. Guy, before we head out, G, where can they find you, man?
You can see that at here. Catch me on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok.
Jack,
he did a wicked piece on Ox earlier. You lot,
please watch it. Please do watch it.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram and mainly on Twitter at Anfield Analytics.
Yeah,
if you guys need your stats, please follow Anfield Analytics.
Yeah,
I was just going to say, please follow Jack because the stats are ridiculous. So please follow Jack at Anfield Analytics. The work that he puts into them as well, you don't realize. You've got to dig deep and you've got to pull these things up. So please do go and follow Jack.
I'm going to try and get Jack on as much as possible because
there's one.
It's different. It gives us the different perspective to everyone else. So
and there's what Jack does really well. There's one thing getting stats, but it's another way orchestrating them and comparing them. So yeah, man.
Guys, we're making him blush. Oh my goodness.
Romz.
That's my socials on everything. Catch me on Saint LFC TV and the Jay James show. But tonight, we're basically another preview. So it'll be a late one, but 11 p.m. Just catch me there, man. And Big Sixpence as well. Big up Monty, you just come in. And Big Sixpence.
And Ash, man. Big up.
Yeah, trust me, this season is about to go off. Klopp zone. Just get over there. We've just announced a Fantasy Premier League. Anyone that's got an FPL team, jump in, go to the page, get the code. Romz, I want to see you in there. I want to see you in there. Do you know what, Romz? I'm going to send you the private group one as well. We've got one just for the team.
I'm joining a public one. No, I didn't know Klopp Zone had one.
Get into that. Everybody get in. There's going to be prizes and everything to be won. So don't miss that. And please follow us, subscribe, whatever. Show Jerry James some love because these shows, Jerry, these are my favorite to come on all week. I know I host a lot of shows, but this is my favorite.
We love it too.
Whoa, G, you can't come say it.
We love it too. But obviously, JJ's my guy. You know what I mean?
JJ, these are the shows. These are the shows. I love it.
Guys, appreciate obviously the whole panel that's tuned in as well today. It's been an amazing one. We've tried to keep it short, but it's always overrun, as it does always when we talk about Liverpool. When passion gets involved, that's what happens. I've put all the links to everyone's socials and TikToks, Twitters, everything. It's all in the description. So please just check that out as well. Please keep smashing the like, share as well. It's been a Jay James show and we're out, people. Take it easy.
Peace.